This was not the worst case scenario. We still had damage. And we're going to need to get out there and go door to door and make sure that everyone is okay. So please stay off the road.
There are more than 3 million power outages still. And even though Milton's storm surge was not as high as feared, there is widespread flooding.
We have a lot of rain that has fallen over the central portion of Florida.
With more to come, and as rivers rise, there's also a lot of tornado damage, especially in St. Lucie County, where at least 4 deaths are reported as crews search for more victims. Milton hit 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene caused widespread devastation. Former President Trump very critical of the federal response. And in Pennsylvania, he blamed his campaign rival, Vice President Harris.
She's just led the worst rescue operation in history in North Carolina. The worst.
President Biden's pushing back on what he calls misinformation.
Quite frankly, these lies are un-American, and there's simply no place for them. Not now, not ever.
We just got an update on inflation, consumer prices for September.
So the expectation was 0.1% upside. Month over month, we came in at 0.2. The expectation year over year up 2.3. We came in up 2.4.
That's Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni. The 2.4 rate is a tenth less than August's annual inflation. And that lower inflation means Social Security recipients will get a smaller cost of living increase next year, just announced at 2.5%. First time unemployment claims surged last week, more than 10%, up to 258,000, the most since early August of last year. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They're back in action. Radar is clear. It is 53 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Indiana Task Force 1 took it right on the chin with the rest of Florida last night.
The men and women of the task force have done just an outstanding job. They're good at being prepped and getting some rest. So we should be ready to go.
And going they are, says Task Force Commander Jay Settergren, as Hurricane Milton made landfall near Sarasota. Millions of people without power at the moment, and dozens of tornadoes as part of the storm have caused significant damage. 2 shootings overnight. One on the north side was heard by an off-duty cop. They found a man injured near 34th and Fall Creek. Another on the west side happened along Neal Avenue near Washington Street. Both victims are alive. Fire investigators need help finding whoever set 6 houses on fire in Indianapolis late Monday night. The separate fires ended up destroying 5 homes and damaging another with a family of 5 inside. IFD's chief fire investigator Vernon Gerard.
Arson is a violent crime. Obviously can get people injured and people can die. So it's very serious, and we take it very seriously.
If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers, which is offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Commotion at a liquor store led to a person being shot in White County Tuesday night. John Herrick reports.
Police were called to that liquor store, but found out that their suspect had left and gone to a home on State Road 16 and had a knife.
The suspect purportedly advanced towards the deputies, at which point at least one deputy discharged a firearm, striking the suspect.
State Police Sergeant Jeremy Pierce says they tried to save that person, but that person later died at a hospital, and the investigation is far from over. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Action at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today. IndyCar drivers are taking part in the first of 2 days of testing on the IMS Oval. This will be the first time that drivers will be turning laps on the oval with the new hybrid engine. Rookies will also be knocking out their rookie orientation programs. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Northbound 65 out of the north split slow to Meridian Penn, and a reminder that construction on the west side southbound 465 from Washington down to I-70, the left 2 lanes blocked. Yeah, that should be done early Monday morning, and all the ramps should reopen as well if the weather cooperates. Traffic sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
More than 100 million wild animals are killed each year, illegally. Poaching is just one of the risks animals face at our hands. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor. I grew up in the beautiful rural countryside of Ohio, where animals roamed freely in the open forests. I have a deep concern to help preserve those open spaces for our wildlife friends, so they can live and thrive like they used to. Destruction of their habitats threaten their very existence. The best way to protect wildlife is to protect the land where they live. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats, and establish permanent sanctuaries. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE. Or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving central Indiana.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Making our way into Thursday, it looks like we'll have sunny skies, high temperatures in the mid-70s, and winds light and variable in direction. As we move towards our Thursday night, skies will remain clear. Low temperatures will drop to 46. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Arsutis for 93 WIBC.
53 and sunny on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is Thursday, October 10th. It's 6 minutes after 9. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So after last night, you had Hurricane Milton make landfall around 8:30 p.m. And what we know is that Lieutenant Dan survived and the roof at Tropicana Field is gone.
So that was the visual that everybody's obviously seeing as they're waking up today, is that the wind was so strong that the roof, Tropicana Field, where the Tampa Bay Rays play, and there is actual video of this happening, was literally ripped off. Now, thankfully, there were a lot of people who were going to go out and help others who were being staged there. Those people are all okay. They were in a secure location, so they were not injured or harmed. And people see that visual and they go, "Oh my gosh! Look at the strength of the storm." And look, it was a bad storm. It's a big storm. However, it appears, and this is very anecdotal evidence. Obviously, they're beginning to survey the damage. I mean, it was a severe hurricane. There was a lot of damage done. It does appear, though, based on initial accounts, that it was not as bad as initially projected. Not to say it's not bad, not to say it's not serious, but when you're seeing like Tony Dungy, who lives down there, tweeted out, "Hey, my neighborhood appears okay. There is some damage, but everybody appears all right. We've got you kind of looking around. Everybody appears to be in one piece." You see those sort of things, and at least hopefully that gives you some optimism that the devastation devastation was not what was initially projected.
Well, it did make landfall as a Category 3 hurricane. It still did have 120 mile per hour winds, but that's a lot lower than what they originally projected. And it was like 180, 185, no, 145, no, it's up to 165, no, down to 120. So it is a good thing that all of those people evacuated, but they are going to return to a lot of damage. There are millions without power right now. There are still flooded neighborhoods throughout Florida, destroyed homes, roofs missing off of homes, and just a ton of storm damage.
Did you see the space visual of this hurricane?
Yeah. How big it was?
It was incredible. So I forget exactly who it was or what operation it was.
Wasn't it NASA who put that out?
Is that who it was? Okay, well, obviously, I mean, it's somebody from outer space, right?
Yeah.
So we have now limited our field, but there was an aerial shot of what that storm looked like from outer space, and it was simply unbelievable to see the visual of that. Now, one of the things we talked about yesterday, and when Jerry was in for you, and then when I did the afternoon show with Hammer, was inside of a hurricane, there's the hurricane itself, but one of the things you have to be very aware of, and I heard Tara Hastings saying this coming into work today, that there were 100 tornado warnings yesterday related to this storm, is you will get tornadoes that will form inside of the hurricane. And so like when Tony Dungy comes out and says, "Hey, it looks like our neighborhood is okay," well, yeah, you're just like with tornadoes here. I mean, we'll see this all the time where one side of the street is completely destroyed and the other side is fine. So you don't know yet exactly what the damage and death toll, et cetera, is going to be.
Yeah, I have a cousin who lives in the very southern part of Florida, and he was, I'm going to ride it out. This wasn't an evacuation zone, But then he called last night and he said, well, the tornadoes are everywhere and it's just so dangerous. And we've talked about that before. That's one thing that people miss a lot when it comes to the hurricanes. Yes, there's the high winds. Yes, there's the storm surge. But there's also tornadic activity that happens throughout that hurricane as well. And boy, did they experience that last night in Florida. Of course, it made landfall in Siesta Key. What a beautiful part of Florida. It's going to take a while for them to recover from this.
Now, one of the things that if you live in the South, and you did, so you're familiar with this, severe weather, we think about, tornadic activity, that's something to the Midwest. Nah, they're kind of familiar with it because every night, I don't know, when I was in North Carolina, I don't know if it was this way in Florida, like it seemed like at 6 p.m. every night,
it rained.
The heat would build up throughout the day and there would be some just very brief, but it was almost like clockwork thunderstorm because of a buildup of the heat in the South, and, most people have been there on vacation, whatever, but living there, like if you live there and you somewhat get immune to it, but it is so, it's just gross, the amount of heat that builds up throughout the course of the day in the South. And so every night you get some sort of, depending on where you're at, weather activity, and then it comes and it goes, and it's 15 or 20 minutes, and then everybody goes about their day. But they'll get a lot of rain in a very short period of time, so they're kind of used to dealing with that sort of thing.
Well, it is called a monsoon climate.
Right.
So, yeah, you would expect that. But how fantastic was Ron DeSantis throughout all of this?
Yeah, your boyfriend.
Yeah, he was amazing.
One of many boyfriends.
He was amazing throughout the whole thing. You could not say the same for Kamala Harris, who was trying to get in on the action. It was like, wait, what about me? I've got something to say. And we've got a lot of audio that we're going to play throughout the day of her.
Well, so we talked about this yesterday with Jerry, and now there's more polling that has come out that seems to back this up. It feels like the election is beginning. Now, look, it's Trump, so he could do or say anything that could reset this whole thing in a moment's notice. However, the fact that he refused to go on 60 Minutes and is refusing to debate tells me maybe somebody got through to him. Shut up. And he appears to be doing those things. However, I said yesterday, it seems like of Kamala Harris's own doing, the race is beginning to pivot and move in the direction of Donald Trump.
Yeah, it does seem that way. And there's some polling that has come out that says that he is now leading in some swing states, and we're going to get to that in just a bit. But how about President Biden? He's giving an update on Hurricane Milton, and he takes it as an opportunity to attack Donald Trump.
Now, I want to reiterate a point. I made clear earlier today to the folks who have been impacted by Helene, this impact, and will be now impacted by Milton. Over the last few weeks, there's been reckless and irresponsible and relentless promotion of disinformation and outright lies about what's going on. It's undermining confidence in the people in Florida, and incredible rescue and recovery work that has been undertaken. Literally, there are thousands of fellow Americans who are putting their lives at stake and putting on the line to do the dangerous work that needs to be done now. And it's harmful to those who most need the help. Quite frankly, these lies are un-American, and there is simply no place for them. Not now, not ever. Former President Trump has led this onslaught of lies. Assertions have been made that property is being confiscated. It's simply not true. They're saying people impacted by these storms will receive $750 in cash and no more. That is simply not true either. They're saying that money needed for these crises are being diverted to migrants. What the heck are they talking about?
Okay, well, so first of all, people who have listened to this week, we had Stan Lovins on Monday. All these days run together. That you were not here for so long.
It was 3 whole days.
You abandoned the show for so long.
Actually, I was on the show Monday.
Oh, that's true.
But go ahead.
Whatever day it was. Yeah, it was Tuesday. We had Stan on Tuesday. And Stan, of course, is an evangelist from Tennessee. He's preached in many, many of these areas that were impacted by Helene for many, many years. He has all sorts of contacts on the ground there. And he named names of people that he's talking to. He named cities and towns where these things are happening because he's talking to people on the ground about how bad it is. No, Joe Biden, a lot of these things are happening. They are happening, right? We've heard specific details from a guy who is in direct communication with people on the ground in these cities. It is horrible, and the federal government has blown it. And the governments, federal or otherwise, are impeding citizens trying to help other citizens. It is happening.
Well, and when you've got Mayorkas coming out saying that FEMA is running out of money for hurricane relief, well, there it is. Well, that's somebody in your administration right there saying it.
And this argument, the thing they try to do, this word salad gotcha thing where, well, this pool of money doesn't mess with this pool of money, and the migrant money, even though it's FEMA money, it doesn't go in the pool of the hurricane relief money. It's the same bullcrap argument about we give money to Planned Parenthood, but it doesn't go to abortion. Well, does Planned Parenthood do abortion? Well, yeah. Then you give money for abortion. You're insulting people's intelligence when you're saying we have this amount of money, a portion of it goes to house and take care of illegal immigrants better than we do American citizens, and then we'll run out of money and say, well, these two pools don't mesh together. Bull. You guys make the rules up as you go along all the damn time.
Well, and he's sitting there saying it's un-American, it's un-American. No, actually, talking about your government is one of the most American things you can do. Yeah. Talk about the First Amendment. So Ron DeSantis was having none of it. He's like, I'm the sheriff in town and step off.
You've been around this block. You've done this before. You've obviously pre-positioned a lot of things, as you've just talked about. You've also talked to President Biden numerous times and federal officials. Wondering what you feel about this focus on misinformation and the comments about it. I know you heard Jackie Heinrich's piece about the president saying it was unpatriotic, it's un-American, and he said former President Trump was behind that.
So here's what I'd say. My job is to manage this process and lead the state through this. I am using every lever at my disposal, including federal government resources. I've marshaled all the agencies in the state government, and we're working like never before to supplement our local communities. I've got to get the job done, and that's what I'm focused on. Now, people have asked me about, is FEMA going to do this? Just let me be clear. In Florida, we run the show. FEMA's not running the show. We will utilize them to support some of the things we're doing, but you are not going to see FEMA running amok in Florida. I know that's been out there on the internet. That is not going to happen. I'm the sheriff that's in charge here, and we will make sure to protect you. Don't worry about it.
He's right.
He's the boss.
FEMA should not be in charge of anything. And this is the problem. When FEMA gets in charge of things, it's a disaster. Because FEMA, their job is to coordinate with all the agencies, right? Like, okay, we have all these groups. Let's get them together. Let's make sure everybody's working together. DeSantis is right. He's in charge. And that is why in Florida, this crap doesn't happen that happens in other places, because you know who is in charge.
Yeah. Is he not the best governor in the entire country right now?
Well, I don't know. We got to get to a break. And, look, we're all on the Trump boat, right? Like, it's an arranged marriage. So we got to hope the guy wins, because we can't do 4 more years of Kamala. But, and Jerry and I talked about this yesterday, this race is over if Ron DeSantis is the nominee for president. I mean, he's cruising to victory, and hopefully Trump can get across the finish line.
Too late now. Too late now.
My goodness, look at the difference.
Yeah. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Florida's West Coast. This is a powerful storm.
93 WIBC.
Many grocery store shelves are empty.
Wall of water 10 to 15 feet above sea level.
Hear the news.
$1.6 billion.
Next year's Indianapolis budget,
the largest spending plan ever in the city's history.
without any tax increases.
Another news update is minutes away.
Helping the victims of Helene.
Farmers showing up with their own equipment, rebuilding these roads themselves.
Organization Samaritan's Purse.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hello, friends. It's Rob for Wheat Grow Hair Indy. And man, it is hard to believe it's been almost 4 years since I made the choice to head over to Wheat Grow Hair Indy. And each time I look in the mirror, I am glad that I did. So let me tell you a little bit about how it works over at Wheat Grow Hair Indy. What you do is you call today, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Schedule a totally free consultation. No hassle, no obligation. You go in there. Darren and the gang, first class all the way. They take a look at what's going on with your noggin, and they give you some suggestions on how they, at We Grow Hair Indy, might be able to make that a little bit better. Then you decide how and if to move forward. Now, the cool thing about We Grow Hair Indy, you can see results for yourself. Head over to WeGrowHairIndy.com. Head over to WeGrowHairIndy.com, and you can see other people who made the choice to get their hair back. Again, no hassle, no obligation, free consultation, 317-522-2995.
317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services,
No,
even
but-
for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye.
No, but-
Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Right now, save up to $250 on Cooper tires, and Shocks and Struts are buy 3, get 1 free.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We've recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Can you hear me?
So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
Based on the last 17 years, we feel like American Standard is the best in the market.
That's Chris Wedekin, owner of Absolute Comfort, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
A new Quinnipiac University poll says that Donald Trump is surging in some key battleground states, including Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. He's definitely leading in Michigan, definitely leading in Wisconsin, not leading in Pennsylvania, but performing better than previous polls. And they asked a bunch of questions like who they thought would do a better job on some key issues. And Trump was outscoring Harris on virtually every single issue, especially when it came to the economy, immigration, upholding democracy, foreign affairs, and even crisis management.
Momentum moves people in politics, and there comes a point where it doesn't even matter what the polling says. You know on Election Day something's going to happen, and I'm not saying we're there yet with Donald Trump by any stretch of the imagination. There's a couple things at play. The mass mail-in unaccountable voting in a place like Pennsylvania. The Democrats, you look at it again, these mail-in ballots that have been returned already, they're 100,000 plus votes ahead. It's believed to be that number is going to be about 350 is the number. If they are that far ahead on Election Day, they'll win. If not, they'll probably lose. But, who knows? The point in all of this, though, is it's clear in the polling that Donald Trump has the momentum on his side. If you believe the results of previous polling, Trump underperforms in the polls or overperforms on Election Day based on what the polls say. Now, I don't know. I think people are getting sick enough of the crap in this country that they're starting to be a little more vocal about it. But even if he's underperforming 2 or 3% versus the 5 or 6 that he did last time, it's still showing he is starting to position himself to win the presidency. And the thing that I like about Trump, and he would have never done this before, is he has turned down an interview with 60 Minutes, and he turned down a debate with Kamala Harris, Even it appears up to and including on Fox News.
He said there's no need for it.
He is finally starting to listen to someone, or maybe himself, or maybe he's so old now that he's like, I can't go out a loser, and I got to put my ego aside, and I'm not very good at these things, and just shut up and go away.
Stop talking.
Right? I mean,
stop talking.
But it's the Michael Scott theory, right? So most people have seen The Office. Michael Scott, the main character played by Steve Carell. There's a famous episode where he asks somebody, he says, do you want, or the Office, do you want your life to be better, worse, or stay exactly the same? And that's really what this election is about. That's what you have to decide. Do you want your life to be better, worse, or stay exactly the same? If you want it to be worse or stay exactly the same, you vote for Kamala Harris, right? Yep. Because we know what you're going to get there. Joe Biden has said it. She has now said it on The View. There's nothing she'd change. There's nothing she'd do different. They're simpatico. She is Biden. Biden is her. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. If you want your life to get better, well, there's no guarantee it's going to get better under Trump. But you know worse or exactly the same what you got, so don't you have to take a chance unless you just want things to be the way they already are?
Well, I think the polling also shows that his dominance on issues like the economy and immigration suggests that voters are more concerned about issues than the cult of personality of what we've seen. They're willing to put that aside.
The older I get, the more, you and I were talking about this earlier, the older I get, the less idealistic I become, right? And I never think of myself as an old person, but I look
You're becoming cynical.
Well, am I becoming cynical? Hi, I'm Rob Kendall. Have we met? But I do think about how I viewed the world and I viewed expectations of the world even 10 years ago versus how I view them now. And when it comes to my voting, I'm more realistic about what can be achieved. So let's take the governor's race, for example, right? Do I think Mike Braun is going to be some phenomenally transformational governor that's going to be like me if I were in there? No, of course not. But do I think on school choice, he'll get universal school choice? Yes. Do I think he'll get something better on property taxes than we have now? Yes. And do I think he'll actually clean up a lot of Holcomb's crap inside the government? Yes. So those three things are pretty realistic. That's better than what I have now. Donald Rainwater's lazy and has no number or plan, so okay, I'll go with Mike Braun, right? Okay, so same thing with the presidency, right? Do I think Trump is going to drain the swamp or is going to go in there and is going to fire everybody? Or no, there's nothing in Trump's past that leads me to believe that he will match 30% of the rhetoric. But if 20% of it comes true, if we get international stability, which I think without a doubt Trump will do, I think without a doubt Trump will clean up what's going on in the mess with the Ukraine. Now, will it be in 24 hours? No, of course not. But will he do that? Yes. Will he create some level of stability with energy production that will get my gasoline prices more affordable, my heating prices more affordable, my air conditioning prices more affordable? Yes. Will he do something better than what we have at the southern border now? Yes. So if all of those things are true, how do I not vote for Donald Trump?
It's interesting that you bring up gas prices because, you know, I drove all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, and Indiana has the highest gas prices along the way. $3.35 is what I paid, and it was $2.75 in other areas.
Well, okay, yeah, but let's right. Let's go there with that because one of the reasons we have such an exorbitant gas price compared to our neighbors is the gas tax. Right? So, you know, again, these things don't happen accidentally, right? Like they don't happen in a vacuum. Hey, we got to take a break.
Yeah.
But when we come back, one of the most important things you are going to vote on this fall, do not skip it. Do not go away from it. Do not leave until you've educated yourself on it and been able to make an informed, educated choice, is these school board races. And so we are getting in go time with these elections, early voting started. So we're going to start having some of these candidates for school board on in these key suburban school districts. And well, it's half my show, so I decided I'm going to start in my neck of the woods.
We're starting in Brownsburg, huh?
My man, Gordon Hayward, the father of one of the most famous basketball players in the history of Indiana, also named conveniently for him, Gordon Hayward. He's going to talk about why a guy who is very successful, very retired, very happy would want to subject himself to running for school board.
He joins us next on 93 WIBC.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It wasn't worst case. It's 55 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. But it was still pretty bad. Millions of people without power all across central Florida as Hurricane Milton made landfall and moved out in a matter of hours.
We will better understand the extent of the damage as the day progresses.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Some damage already understanding, though, like the Tropicana field where the Rays play. The roof of the ballpark was ripped off. The storm also spawned dozens of tornadoes, which caused even more damage, not to mention storm surge. The president of Ukraine is in London today to meet with British leaders. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
President Volodymyr Zelensky is meeting UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer at 10 Downing Street, and also the new NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte. Talks with individual leaders are taking the place of a planned summit of 50 of Ukraine's supporters. That meeting postponed because President Joe Biden wants to stay in the United States during Hurricane Milton. President Zelensky's blueprint to win the war is being kept secret. It's likely to emphasize his request for permission to use long-range Western weapons against targets in Russia. From London, Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Tennis great Rafael Nadal is retiring. The 22-time Grand Slam champion released a video message this morning saying that he will retire from tennis at the end of this season. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. A weaker labor market has stocks plummeting today. The Dow is off 73 to 42,741. The Nasdaq down 104 to 20,319. And the S&P 500 is down 18 to 5,823. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Looking for a great place to go for car care?
Hi, this is Lonnie Hinkle from Jiffy Lube, and I'd like to share the top 5 reasons that every Hoosier should trust Jiffy Lube to help keep their car running safe and well. Number 5, our computer system holds the maintenance data for every make and model. We know exactly what your car needs and when it needs to be done. Number 4, Jiffy Lube's training system is in the Training Magazine Hall of Fame. Along with companies like Ritz-Carlton, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's, our team does the job right. Number 3, you never need an appointment. We are ready to serve you whenever it works best for you, so come on in and see us. Number 2, Jiffy Lube accepts competitor coupons so you can get our great service at the desperate price of our competitors. And number 1, Jiffy Lube is a one-stop maintenance shop, and we make it easy for you to take great care of your car. Avoid the repair shop by getting your maintenance done at Jiffy Lube. And we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores.
So head to Jiffy Lube. There's really no reason to take your car anywhere else.
Mortgage rates are down and creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. Maximize your home sale now with the market expert who delivers maximum money in less time, Mark Deedle. Perhaps you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Dee and Andrew in Noblesville had to say about working with Mark Deedle. We were done with the rat race and ready to live the dream of buying a camper and traveling west. We needed top cash from our home to make the dream work. Thankfully, we hired Mark Deedle, who delivered big time. Our home sold for our asking price in 4 days on the market. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold, or he'll buy it. Call Mark Deedle at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Just when I was getting used to being a single mom to 2 kids, I learned I was about to be laid off. I had no idea how I would make ends meet. Then I heard about the Indiana Emergency Rental Assistance Program, and I applied for help.
This is Diane's story. Indiana renters who are struggling to pay rent can call 211 or visit indianahousingnow.org to apply for rental assistance through this limited time program. We're here for Diane. We're here for renters. We're here for you.
Based on a real story program funded by the U.S. Department of Treasury.
Are you concerned about rising property taxes? My name is Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor. My plan would limit your property taxes to 1% of the purchase price of your property. It would never increase, and it would end once you've paid for 7 years. To learn more about my plan to make Indiana government less taxing, go to rainwaterforindiana.com and watch the televised gubernatorial debates this October. My name is Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message, paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
35, you got a boy of our own now. Last night I sat him up behind the wheel.
So he's the father of a very famous Indiana basketball player. And now he's running for school board. What's up with that? Let's find out. 93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. And as we've talked about, one of the most important things you're going to vote on this fall is not governor. It's not senator. It's not even president. It's your local school boards because they have such a big impact on all sorts of things going on in your community. And there are some really interesting, really contested races. One of them out in my hometown of Brownsburg, where Gordon Hayward, Gordon Hayward, the father of Gordon Hayward. Are you following me? He's running for school board out in Brownsburg. Joins us now on the WIBC hotline. Gordon, how's it going, man?
It's going great, Rob. How are you doing?
I'm great. So I think one of the questions, before we get into the school board stuff, a question I've been dying to ask you for a long time. So when your son, it's Butler, it's Duke, it's the national championship, it's right here in Indianapolis, he fires that shot from half court, that ball is in the air, you're there in person, you think it's going down, right?
Well, actually, I saw him many a time hit shots like that, but that's the shot before that on the baseline. I was sitting on that baseline. The shot over, what was his name, Zubats, big, long guy. He kind of had to fade a little bit. That one looked like it was dead on, and he had hit that one. And that was the shot that both he and I thought was going in, was going to win it. And then, of course, the one at the end, that's just a Hail Mary.
That would have been, everybody remembers it because it didn't go in because it was so close. That would have been the most famous shot in the history of college basketball if Gordon had made that shot.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then every year for the next 10 years, we got to watch that before the NCAA started. And it was kind of the running joke was like, oh, you're that guy, you're the father of that guy who missed the shot. Yes.
That's me. Yeah, he was drafted in the NBA, one of the best players in college basketball. Yes, I'm the dad of the guy who missed the shot to win the national championship.
Yeah, right. And then your intro there, I have to, it's like I used to be Gordon Hayward, and then my son grew to be 6'7" and have all the success in basketball, and now I'm just the father or the dad, Gordon Hayward's dad. That's what I am. So be careful how you name your children.
Yeah, that's right. You just become somebody's dad. I'm finding that out now too. I have a 15-month-old. I'm no longer Rob, the radio broadcaster. I'm just Olivia's dad. Yeah, I got it. So you're running for school board in Brownsburg. You're part of a wave of people across central Indiana who kind of haven't done anything political before, but you said, now I got to step in and I got to run for public office. Why are you running for school board?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, right? You're not running for school board for the $2,000 that you get paid. I had a buddy at the pickleball court come up to me the other day, and he said, so all I want to know is, when's the surgery? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, you need to have your head examined.
It is. It's a great point, right? Because you're a successful guy. You were successful long before your son's playing in the NBA. You don't need the hassle of this. And yet we're seeing a lot of professional people like you who are stepping up, non-political people, to run for these school board races.
Yeah, right. And so I pulled out the Moana response. I said, what I think you mean to say is thank you and you're welcome. If you go to my website, haywardforbrownsburg.com, my tagline is servant leadership committed to excellence. I was asked by friends and family to consider running. I told them I would perfectly consider that. And I really enjoy servant leadership. And as I looked into it and I considered it, our schools are excellent. They really are great. But as you talk to people in the community, and I talk to teachers and former school board members and friends and family and neighbors and everyone I talk to, they all came back with the same thing, like, you would be really good. We need you to run. And we need to change some of the school board members that we have on there now.
Gordon Hayward is our guest. Yes, Gordon Hayward, the father of Gordon Hayward. That helps on the campaign trail, right? Like, people are like, Gordon Hayward, the basketball player, running for school board?
Yeah. My wife goes to Kroger, and she'll be out campaigning, or she'll have my shirt, or people see the sign on the side of her car, and they'll come up to her and say, "So I heard your son retired and he's running for school board."
Yes.
And she has to say, well, no, actually, that's my husband. And then they go, well, it doesn't matter. We're voting for him anyway.
Yeah, it's very. I know you were plotting this, 30 plus years ago. I will name my son after me so that someday in a local government election that pays me $2,000 a year, I'll have a highly competitive advantage.
Right. That was the whole plan. I thought about this, and I'm like, what do I put on my sign? Because I don't want people to be confused. Do I put Gordon Hayward's dad on the sign? Vote for Gordon Hayward's dad. But then I had a friend say, well, did you think about putting a basketball on your sign? And I'm like, no. If they vote for my son, that's their mistake. But I'm not trying to mislead people.
One of the things, and Casey, you'll back me up on this, one of the things that we have challenged people is you got to work through your ballot, right? And the school board races are all the way at the very end, or near the end of the ballot. And Casey, you and I have talked about this, that it's really hard to get people to get educated on what's going on with their school board races.
Yeah, well, the research is on the voter.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, Gordon, I'm curious, when you're out talking to people, and this is whether we've got some fine people running in Noblesville and Fishers and Carmel, and we'll talk to some of them as we get closer to Election Day. I'm curious how you educate people about school board races, because they are the only race in the state where you don't put a party affiliation next to your name. How do you educate people on what's going on? What do people want to know?
Well, I'm doing a lot of that. I think, again, I point them to my website. Obviously, I have literature that I can hand out that's very similar. But I'm also asking questions of them, trying to figure out what's going on in our schools and what are the issues and the concerns that they have. Because my plan is to go in. I always hated this, Rob, in my job in the commercial world, where a new vice president gets hired and he comes in and he just changes everything. He doesn't even take the time to evaluate where we're at. So I don't want to do that. What I want to do is come in. I know we have great schools, figure out what's going well, what's not going well, and then prioritize those things and knock them out.
One of the things when you talk about great schools, and Casey, you and I have had this conversation quite a bit, which is, hey, even in Brownsburg, which is number one, basically 38% of the kids are not hitting the minimum proficiency standard. And so you kind of do have to educate people on that, right, Gordon, where you go, hey, yeah, we're number one, but wow, that's a D-. Are we putting that on the refrigerator?
Right. Well, that was one of the things that I found, and one of the reasons that I decided to run it. Again, we do have great schools, and everyone should be commended for that. But on the other hand, we do have problems. In 2019, it was over 70% were passing, and then the pandemic hit. Of course, there was a drop in our test scores. But our scores are now closer to 60%, and 3 out of the last 4 years, our scores have fallen. So, what's going on there, and why is that?
Yeah, and that is a real indictment across the state, that the fact that that's number one. 38% basically of students are not hitting that minimum standard, and that's number one. Why? And it's interesting because we have the former superintendent of education running
for governor?
Running for governor as a Democrat. She's like, I know education. It's like, ooh, maybe you don't, lady, because 38% aren't passing. And that's number one, Gordon.
Isn't that really scary that we're number one in the state and 4 out of 10, nearly 4 out of 10 aren't passing those standardized tests? Wow.
One of the things before I let you go, Gordon Hayward is our guest. He's running for school board in Brownsburg. How do we get more people like you to step up? Because I've said, look, you're a good common sense guy. You'll cut through the political bull crap. But you'll also bring people together. It seems like it's like you're sort of the porridge is just right. How do we get more people like you involved?
Well, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I retired a few years ago, and my wife and daughter were all concerned about what are you going to do. And one of the things I told them, look, I have my mom, my dad, they live in town here. I've got 3 grandchildren who live around the block. You know, I'm coaching basketball. I'm working at the church. I'm just going to continue to serve. And this opportunity came available, and this is what I do, and I'm going to serve. So I have a little bit of an advantage over most people in that I've retired, and I have that time. That's really a good question, Rob. I don't know the answer to that.
How many votes, last question, how many votes have you lost being that I'm a fan of yours? At any point have you been knocking on doors? Has anyone said, I like you, but I hate Rob Kendall so much that I can't vote for you?
No one has said that, Rob.
Oh, I'm so disappointed.
Well, that day is coming.
Hey, man, if people want to learn more about what you're doing with school board, like I said, we'll interview some of these other people in Noblesville and Fishers and Carmel as we get closer to Election Day. But obviously, it's half my show, so I start which is most interesting to me, which is Brownsburg. How can people learn about you?
Well, obviously, you can go to my website, haywardforbrownsburg.com. I do want to mention one other thing. In talking to folks, there's still a lot of a misconception that you have to live. I'm running for the Brown Township seat, but everyone whose child or who's in the Brownsburg school system, they all, Brown and Lincoln residents, all can vote for me.
Yeah.
And the other thing that people don't necessarily know is whether you're voting, if you want to vote straight ticket, you got to page back to the school board and actually select my name. You can't, it's a nonpartisan race. So you can't just select one party or the other.
Yeah, that's important. If you're voting and you straight ticket vote, you still got to vote for the school board races separately, whether you live in Noblesville or Fishers or Brownsburg or any of these places where there's these contested school board races. Make sure, even if you straight ticket, you got to vote for the school board races, Gordon.
Right, absolutely.
All right, good luck, buddy.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. When is the optimal time to file for Social Security? It's not just about a specific age, Rob. This decision could needlessly trigger higher taxes on your benefits and higher taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals.
Yeah, you could even double your Medicare premiums.
So if you don't consider all of these things, it could literally cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Learn how you could wring every nickel, and I know how you love nickels, Casey, out of your benefits
and
with
dimes.
a free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
We know and trust Bill, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912.
This is the one tool that could help you get the most income from Social Security, and it won't cost you a dime, even if you're not a client.
Call today, 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Hello. Producer Allison here. The Hammer and Nigel show is kicking off at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Hey, somebody's got to do the work around here. So we'll see you soon.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty. that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care. And that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Looking for a great deal on a new Lincoln? Come to Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. 0% for 60 months is back. Get 0% APR for 60 months on every new 2024 Lincoln Navigator and get a $4,000 discount. You can also take $3,000 off every new 2024 Lincoln Corsair 70 available. We look forward to seeing you at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Well-qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock L24401, MSRP 107425. Stock L24284, MSRP 43435. See dealer for complete details.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Join WIBC this Saturday for the Home and Garden Show live from Sullivan Hardware and Garden at 71st and Keystone from 9 to 1 for their perennials, trees, and shrub clearance with Sullivan Hardware and Garden and 93 WIBC.
Is it a PR move or is she just using her kind heart? Taylor Swift donating $5 million to Hurricane Helene and Milton relief efforts. The announcement was made by a nonprofit organization, Feeding America. They thanked Taylor Swift for the generous donation. They said together we can make a real impact in supporting families as they navigate the challenges ahead. Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, that's very nice of her. I mean, let's be honest, though. It's like if someone said, may I have $5?
Right, I know.
I mean, it's very nice of her, and it will certainly help a lot of people. But
$5 million can go a long way. However, that's just a drop in the bucket.
I mean, it doesn't make
right?
it any less, it doesn't make it any, I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm just saying, let's just perspective ourselves here that she gave $5.
She gave $5 million. But another thing that is going on is that commuters and Swifties can all breathe a sigh of relief. This, as a major interstate shutdown near Indianapolis here, has now been rescheduled.
So we're going to have Matt Baer on Tuesday to talk about this. Everyone should be outraged over this. So there was this big 65 southbound project that they were like, oh, it's going to take so much time, and it's going to this, and it's going to that. And now they've announced they have expedited the project so they make sure they're done by the time the Taylor Swift concert happens November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd here in Indianapolis. So what they're saying, what the state, the city, et cetera, is saying to you is we can do things faster. What the government is admitting to you, Casey, we can do things faster. We have the ability to do things better. We have the ability to do things quicker. but we just don't give a damn about you. But we aren't dare going to piss off 200,000 Swifties, many of them from other cities.
Yeah, so again, is this a PR move, or are they really trying to...
People should be outraged over this. What they're telling you is we don't give a damn about you if you're some 40-year-old guy who's lived your whole life here and you work very hard at a construction job to pay your taxes. Screw you. We'll get to that when we get to that. But if you're a Swiftie from Dayton, I don't even think they'd be using 65. Maybe they would. I don't know. Whatever. If you're a Swiftie from Chicago or Detroit, they wouldn't be using that anyway. Whatever. If you're somebody who's a Swiftie from another state,
from Louisville,
we're gonna
Chicago.
fast track this for you. That's pathetic.
They're gonna fill in the potholes with gold just for Taylor Swift.
I mean,
you think so?
I mean, what other explanation is this? They fast tracked this thing because they don't. They want to make sure
same day 200,000 visitors
other
are going to be here in
Swifties are
Indy.
taking. Yeah. So don't ever, anytime a construction project goes long or is delayed or they're slow getting to it, the government is admitting to you, we can get things done not only on time, but we can get them done faster if we want to.
Yep. Well, they could have had a potential gridlock. It would have been a PR nightmare, not only for the city, but also for NDOT. But there's also the side of this that lets you know that Taylor Swift's influence extends beyond the music world. Now she's getting construction done in our city quicker than anyone else could have imagined.
It's outrageous.
Can she start complaining about the roads in Indiana and the gas prices and
ask
property taxes?
Can she ask where Hogsett was during the riots?
Yes, maybe we'll get some answers. Let's put Tay-Tay on it. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Indiana Task Force 1 hard at work today after Milton barreled through Florida. Plus, how much it's going to cost you in the investigation into Mayor Hogsett. And Donnie Burgess reports on a sentence for a man caught with child porn. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Assessing Hurricane Milton's damage in Florida. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Thankfully, this was not the worst-case scenario. The storm did weaken before landfall.
But Governor Ron DeSantis says there is still extensive damage, especially in areas hardest hit first last night.
Sarasota County had the most significant storm surge, likely somewhere between 8 to 10 feet.
So there's flooding in coastal communities and other parts of Florida inundated by more than a foot of rain. Major General Robert Carruthers with the Florida National Guard just told Fox they have crews on the ground and in the air.
Focused on search and rescue immediately. They do assessments, damage assessments in parallel when they can.
There have been also more than several dozen rescues of people in the storm and in the damage. And also before Milton hit, the outer edges spotted deadly tornadoes. Fox Weather's Kendall Smith seeing the damage firsthand.
The St. Lucie County Emergency Operations Center confirmed 4 fatalities to Fox, and this is an ongoing situation. Search and rescue efforts are still ongoing this morning. There have been at least 25 individuals that have been rescued, and all of those individuals, unfortunately, have sustained either cuts, bruises, lacerations.
There are 3.3 million power outages still. We got an inflation update showing the annual rate of consumer price increase slowing a bit more from 2.5% in August to 2.4% last month, the smallest rise in more than 3 years. And since that is tied to this,
the cost of living increase for Social Security recipients next year will be 2.5%. The increase for 2024 was 3.2% after an 8.7% increase the previous year, reflecting the highest inflation in 40 years.
As Fox's Jenica Solo, the increase will mean for the average Social Security recipient about $50 a month more next year. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They know what to do. It's 59 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Millions without power this morning as Hurricane Milton has come and has since moved through the state of Florida. That's where Indiana Task Force 1 is, helping in the search and rescue efforts.
We've got a pretty good idea of what to expect. Obviously, this is a rather large one, and we believe will be impactful because it's hitting a heavily populated area.
Task Force 1 Commander Jay Settergren. City leaders have hired an outside law firm to investigate Mayor Hogsett. A special committee looking into sexual harassment within city government has hired Fisher Phillips, which is based in Chicago. And they're going to be charging roughly at a discounted rate $500 an hour. And that's going to be your taxpayer money paying for it. The firm will investigate Hogsett's handling of sexual harassment claims during his time as mayor. A man from Morocco, Indiana, is facing 12 years behind bars. Donnie Burgess explains why.
Seth Alonzo was only 19 when he started collecting and sharing child porn through social media. The Department of Justice says Alonzo kept most of the content in his home, where they found hundreds of pictures and videos on his electronics. Alonzo, now 20 years old, will spend the next 12 years in prison with another 5 on probation afterwards. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Electric bills have 2 parts, says Purdue engineering professor Andrew Liu. One part is the cost of generating the electricity, and the other is maintaining the infrastructure to deliver it.
Which is infrastructure maintenance, like mainly transmission distribution lines. The increase in cost is mainly due to their age. They're just getting older and cost more to maintain.
Liu says renewable energy sources like wind and solar power have become cheaper to build and operate. The Indiana Pacers continue preseason play this evening. They're in Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Here is Jiffy Lube of Indiana's COO, Lonnie Hinkle.
Lots of Hoosiers belong to unlimited car wash programs because they want their car to look great. At Jiffy Lube, we're here to help you make sure your car runs great. So to help take care of your car inside and out, Jiffy Lube is offering everyone who belongs to a monthly car wash program a $20 discount and a free tire rotation from now through the end of the year. Just point out your car wash sticker and we'll do the rest. My Jiffy Lube teams are maintenance experts. Our computer system provides all of the manufacturer's maintenance recommendations for every make and model of vehicle, so we know exactly what every car needs to operate at its best. Jiffy Lube is your trusted one-stop shop for all that your car needs to run well for many years. You never need an appointment, and we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores. So stop in on your way to the car wash, save $20, plus get a free tire rotation just for belonging to a monthly car wash program.
Jiffy Lube. Nobody does it better.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, October 10th. It's 5 minutes after 10. His name is Rob Kendall. Mine is Casey Daniels, and I've been out for a few days, Rob, so I need you to get me caught up to date with what's going on in the governor's race here in Indiana. I saw at one point Jennifer McCormick got some more money from her party, and then the Republicans turned around and gave Mike Braun some more money. Has anything changed while I was away?
No, Mike Braun is going to be the next governor of the state of Indiana. Jennifer McCormick is playing pretend politics governor, and so what happened was there's this, if you haven't been following it, there's this complete knucklehead, to use a Tim Walz phrase.
Right. I caught that.
Running for governor in North Carolina on the Republican side. And Robinson, I think is his name. He's the current lieutenant governor. Guy's been a complete disaster. That race is now unwinnable for the Republicans. So unwinnable for the Republicans means unlosable for the Democrats. And so you saw the Democrats not have to spend money in a place where they had anticipated, hey, we're going to have to really spend heavily. They got a gift. And so they have taken that money that they were going to spend in North Carolina, some of it, the Democrat Governors Association, and they have given some of that to Jennifer McCormick. Now, to you and me, $600,000 sounds like, oh my gosh, we work in radio. We could live 20 years off
I know.
$600,000.
Retirement.
But the reality is she had basically no money to begin with. That is not going to make any difference. And she's going to, she may do a little bit better than Indiana Beto's going to do, or whoever that complete no-name running against Banks is going to do, or Kamala, because Rainwater is going to pull some votes from Braun. But no, it's not. That's going to make zero difference. Now, Braun is taking it very serious. The Republican Governors Association gave Mike Braun, I believe, it was $750,000. But again, in a state the size of Indiana, where you're talking 7 million people, you've got really five primary large media markets. You've got Indianapolis, which is the big one,
major market.
You've got Gary, Chicago.
Yeah.
You've got Fort Wayne, Evansville, and then Louisville, which is Jeffersonville, but that's Louisville. I mean, that is nothing. $600,000 doesn't get you anywhere in terms of just the Indianapolis market. You go through that
pretty quickly,
real quick.
Yeah.
And as we talked about with Lopez earlier this week, or maybe it was Ethan, I can't remember. I think it was Lopez. I'm watching college football on Friday night. Now, Casey, you will back me up on this. The target demo for college football on broadcast television, Big Ten college football, is men.
Yeah, 25-54.
Right, thank you. Because I posted this, and then these liberal women lost their minds. I watch college football. Lady, first of all, I don't even believe you. But second of all, you are not the dominant audience watching college football.
Correct.
And so McCormick runs an ad during the Oregon-Michigan State game. And so I'm thinking, this is interesting. And the first thing she's talking about is abortion.
Right.
And I'm like, talk about misreading the room.
Not knowing the audience.
Men and the polling. First of all, people as a collective, whether it's Abdul's poll or the Emerson poll for Fox 59, show abortion is so far down the list. That's as a collective. All the people in the sample.
Right. That's like 7th or 8th when you put everybody
much less men 25 to 54. They don't care at all. So you're spending all of this money. You're paying a premium to be on broadcast television, Fox, during college football, and you're telling men something they don't care at all. It's a bad ad because they don't care at all about it. They don't care. She has no solutions for anything. Her tax plan bankrupts the state in 4 years. That's just her property tax plan. Bankrupts the state in 4 years. She's one of the things we had talked about on State House Happenings, and then Merritt and I talked about this yesterday. In a weird way, the best thing to happen to Mike Braun was Donald Rainwater, because Rainwater's plan is so goofy. And I mean goofy based on the sense that he provides no details for it. It could have been a decent plan.
How are you going to pay for it?
Right. It could have been a decent plan. It is an interesting plan. But when you have no numbers whatsoever, and then your lieutenant governor declares dividing the revenue that you do collect up as Hunger Games for the local government, people just go, you're not serious. So weirdly, she's so extreme one way, and Rainwater is so goofy based on he was too lazy to come up with any details on the other end, that people look at Braun and go, well, he's kind of the most moderate, middle-of-the-road guy with the property tax
right,
plan.
at least he has a plan. He also came out with his public safety plan, and it's pretty much the same as what he released during the primary. It's a 6-point plan, and he wants to confront the drug crisis, enforce the law, tackling undocumented immigration, supporting police, treating mental health conditions, and also prioritizing school safety. And something else that he said that he wants to do is he wants to be able to get rid of prosecutors. He wants the governor to be able to do that.
Now, they can do that in Florida, like we've seen DeSantis do that, and Braun would like to do that. Now, he's going to be with us Monday to talk about, I don't even know. I guess Braun and I are such friends now. They're just like, Mike would like to come on Monday.
I saw that email while I was out on vacation. I was like, oh, cool. I wonder what we're going to talk about.
I don't even know. I mean, we're such good friends now that we've come a long way, right?
You've come a very long way.
Here is the thing, and this is when Braun and I were going back and forth and having our little conversations about who's going to support who and whatnot. This is the thing, and I've told this to the state reps, and I know they all listen down there, so I will just do this as a public service announcement. Wouldn't you like to have me off your ass for a couple of years? And wouldn't your life just be better off if you didn't have to deal with me bitching and complaining about you people? I think you all can agree that's a thing. And the fastest, most easiest way to shut me the hell up for at least a year.
Do your job, save the people some money.
Just pass Braun's property tax plan. Just reset those rates to 2021, cap the growth. It's not even a plan I really am all that jazzed about, but it's a decent plan. And it would save me some money, and it would save everybody else some money, and it would get us out of this 15-20% increase. Just pass the Braun property tax plan, and then for basically 2 years, you guys can live in peace. Everybody will be happy. We'll also be equally miserable and dislike each other the same as we did before. But gosh darn it, then we can coexist together better.
Okay, so Braun's updated public safety plan, he's showing that he's got a strong approach to tackling some of these issues. However, it does not have a cost estimate.
Well, and again, so this is we level with our audience, right? If you want to vote for Rainwater, and that's totally fine. If you say I hate the Republicans and the Democrats so much, and they've done such a bad job, I am in protest going to vote for Donald Rainwater. That's fine. You're not voting for a serious candidate. Okay, you square that with yourself, and voting's a personal thing, and you do that. The guy has no plan for the key issues with numbers or anything else whatsoever. And the fact that we had, while you were gone, we had J.D. Prescott on, who has a concrete plan to eliminate property taxes with numbers, with figures, with how the monies get disseminated to the local governments, about how we're getting out of the assessor game. You can dislike or like his plan, but that's a serious person, a professional person who came in here with facts, figures, numbers, how it works. Donna, none of that. So, but if you want to protest the Republicans, that's fine, or the Democrats or whatever. Jennifer McCormick, if you're voting for her, you're voting to bankrupt our state in 4 years. And I'm using my public school math that nobody has been able to refute, that if we have $2.4 billion in reserves and her plan costs $600 million a year, well, we're done here. So if you want to vote for a professional, serious person, and you don't want to bankrupt our state in 4 years, There's only one guy left.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Braun's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm not saying that I'm going to be doing cartwheels or somersaults, that he's the governor. I'm just leveling with you about what you're up against. And the reality is, if you give Braun a mandate, you're going to get the universal school choice, which is great. You're going to give him firepower to get his property tax plan through, and he will. And I have no doubt about this, because don't kid yourself. The people Braun's going to go in there, they do not like a lot of the Holcomb people. They are going to clean house on how the government works.
It's really interesting if you consider people who are thinking about voting for McCormick, because she can release whatever plan she wants. It's not going to get done.
Well,
not with a supermajority, a Republican supermajority. They're not going to pass anything she says.
Well, and that's what's fascinating, has been fascinating to me about her as a candidate, which is there's such a lane on people who are disappointed with the Republicans. I think it's why you've seen Braun struggle comparative to the other candidates, Banks, Rokita, et cetera, because Banks is nationalizing the election. It's Trump. You're sending a senator there. Now, nobody should vote for Jim Banks because he's too chicken to debate. And if he will not, for 1 hour, be accountable to you on a stage, think about how he's going to have no problem screwing you over for 6 years. But whatever. They're going to nationalize that. It's Trump. It's Banks. They're kind of joining together. Rokita's done a good job of that, too. Rokita's saying, look, I'm fighting for these things. He's talking about national issues. Rokita's done a really good job of deflecting off this, somewhat serious allegations against him and potential penalties he's facing with the disciplinary commission. Destiny Wells is also a horrible, awful, rotten candidate. She won Carmel. Well, then she should run for the mayor of Carmel, right? Because she's a horrible statewide candidate.
She may have that opportunity.
Well, she's going to have an opportunity to run for something else, and I can assure you she will not go away, much to the dismay of most of us. But Braun, because he has had to run, unfortunately for Braun, he's had to run on the sins of Republicans past. He's having some trouble separating himself that the others that are running on the national platform are not.
Yeah. You've got the Indiana Republican Party dinner coming up. It's the fall state dinner on the 15th featuring Lou Holtz. Are you going to go?
Well, no, wait. Now, a couple of years ago, somebody very nice invited Mock and me, and we went.
Yeah.
When is that? What is that? That's a week from, what is that?
No, it's the 15th.
That's what I'm saying. It's a week from Tuesday. From what? It's the 15th.
It is Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah. If somebody would like to invite me to that and pay for me to go, I would probably go do that.
Yeah. Doors open at 5:45. Dinner at 6:30. And then the bottom, in very, very small print.
Yeah.
Please make checks payable to the Indiana Republican Party.
No, I would go to this just as I did a couple of years ago, just to make a whole bunch of people who hate me miserable. But I would sooner stab my eyes out with an ice pick than give 7 cents to the Indiana Republican Party. So if somebody would like to invite me, I would be open to going as your guest. Rob at WIBC.com. You can email me.
You'll get an invite and they'll say, that's fine, I'll take you, but we can't talk about politics. Just like the Sting Billy Joel
that
concert.
guy never emerged with the ticket. You notice that?
No.
That guy came and on the voicemail or whatever.
Yeah, he said he would take you, but you just couldn't talk
accepted.
politics.
I said, okay, gladly, I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
We have to talk about the podcast, The Degenerates Next Door.
Boy, we're great, aren't we?
Because you guys are killing it.
How much money did we make your husband?
Well, he let's talk about it coming up, can we?
Yeah.
All right. It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Casey, you're decades away from this, but when is the optimal time to file for Social Security?
Well, Rob, it's not just about a specific age. This decision could needlessly trigger higher taxes on your benefits and higher taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals.
Yeah, that's true. Even if you're 40 like me or slightly ahead of 40 like Casey, you could even double your Medicare premiums.
So if you don't consider all of these things, it could literally cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, learn how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits. I know how you love those nickels, Casey. With the free Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy in Indy.
We know and trust Bill, and you can too.
If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912.
This is the one tool that can help you get the most income from Social Security. And it won't cost you a dime. even if you're not a client.
Call today, 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Tony Katz.
Let's now name all the things you would rather do other than move.
Gastro bypass surgery.
And I was just going to go for enema. Same body part, just from different angles.
Takes half as long.
This show is excellent, by the way.
I love it.
You know, we got nominated for a Marconi.
Oh.
We didn't get nominated this year. I don't see another one in our future.
It's like that Colts won Super Bowl championship. We'll always have that.
I was going to put up a finalist banner.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Denny Smith here. The big fall sale at Sundown Gardens is still happening. Save 20 to 50% off trees and shrubs, 50% off herbaceous perennials and pottery. Take advantage of great fall planting weather and save 20 to 50% on trees now at Sundown Gardens. The nursery's full of great selections and the greenhouse is bursting with great local grown mums, pumpkins, and all your needs for fall decorating. Sundown Gardens is located at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
I don't know what you're doing, but apparently it's something really awesome. Your Degenerates Next Door podcast, you and Hammer, apparently have been making a lot of money for some people. Is this true?
Yeah, it was the Joe DiMaggio sports betting streaks that I was on. Of course, people remember Joe DiMaggio hitting 56 consecutive games. He got a base hit. This was really the sports betting version of that. I had hit 9 NFL bets in a row going back 2 weeks. Sadly, the streak came to an end on Monday Night Football. The Saints, they were covering for much of the game. They were underdogs. They were down the whole game, but they were inside of the spread, and then they fell apart late. And it helps when the refs are wearing Chiefs jerseys. It's very, very helpful. But yes, the Degenerates Next Door Sports Betting Podcast, new college football episode is out. Hammer and I will tape the NFL episode today. Download wherever you get your podcast. We've seen an explosion of hits. And look, here's the thing about this. Water finds its level, right?
This is the warning.
Well, I mean, but we have a lot of fun with it. We bet on sports the way regular people bet on sports. We watch sports the way regular people watch sports. We scream at college frat bro kickers when they miss kicks. We ignore our families, and to watch football. And it's just nice. I'm what am I? I'm 15-10 in the NFL. I'm 17-13 in college for the year. So that's 9 over for the year. If you'd bet, Casey, if you'd have bet $1 million on every game that I told you to bet on, you could almost buy this radio station.
Almost.
And we could just kick Tony Katz off the air altogether.
So we get home last night from our trip, and the dude's like, oh, man, Hammer and Rob are just killing it on their bets. And I was like, oh, yeah? And he said, yeah, I can't wait till this weekend to place some bets, because he didn't bet the entire time we were gone.
No!
And I thought, I wonder, is sports betting not legal in Maryland? And it is, but he was focused on family, which is good. And
what a man. I never focus on my family when the games I bet on are on.
Well, and I mentioned to you, so he's going to be betting this weekend. You're like, well, I don't know.
It's like the stock market.
Because now you've been doing so great.
Every week when I get done with my bets, I look at Hammer and go, I hate every one of these picks. And here's what it is. So I kind of have sports betting is a strategy, and everybody's got their own little strategy. And I, just like this show, I don't put near as much effort into it as the person that I work with. and look, it's clearly so far paid off, and I kind of have a feel for things, and I bet on teams that I've seen, and if I've seen the teams play, then I get I was in on Fade Purdue way before the public was. But Hammer spends just hours and hours.
He's analyzing data. He's got spreadsheets.
And he's so into it, and he'll give these in-depth explanations, and I'm like, I saw Oregon State play on the CW a couple of weeks ago, and they were pretty good, so I'll go with them. And Hammer's like, the kicker for the for the Ball State Cardinals, when the weather is 37 degrees or less and there is a wind out of the west,
Right.
it's like, what
are you talking about?
What are we doing here?
Right. No, you sound like me. I like the colors. Their uniforms are pretty.
I've always told people this, that this is why you should never bet any more than you can stand to lose. Like, if you're going to be mad to lose it, then don't bet it. And everybody has a different level of that. With Hammer, that's a much more sizable amount of money than it is me. If I lose $2, I'm pissed off. So it's like but always only bet where if you lost it, you said, man, I got cheap entertainment for that amount of money. That's what I tell people to do. But you can get, for people like us who do watch these games on the regular, and you start to know teams, and you read a lot about it, you can get a little bit of an edge, which is why we're, over 500. But water finds its level in sports betting, Casey. Water finds its level.
You're putting that out there just in case.
Well, it's pressure. It's like Drake, our Superman Drake, he'll bet like $500 in a game.
I know, and you're like, you've got a baby, a newborn. Don't you need diapers?
And the problem then is, even though we tell people not to do that, Hammer and I start sweating for that guy.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, you used our pick. We told you don't bet that much. You did bet that much. Now we're nervous for you, even though we don't have anything to do with any of this.
Pressure's on you. You feel like you need to be on the field now, at least, coaching or doing something. All right, so tell everybody where they can find the Degenerates Next Door podcast.
Anywhere you get your podcast, just search the Degenerates Next Door. The college football episode, we do 2 episodes a week. College football drops on Tuesday, NFL on Thursday. College football is out now. We've got plenty of picks, including the big one. Casey, the big one. Ohio State is at Oregon on Saturday night. And then, the Colts. I've got a play on the Colts. And I blame Tony Katz for this. So Katz started inviting us on his...
Right, on Fridays to promote it.
And he wants us to do the Colts because obviously there's interest in the Colts and the betting. Now I feel like one of us, me or Hammer, has to do a Colts pick every week. Well, obviously now you got this Michael Pittman injury. We still don't know, is Richardson going to be 100%? Are we going with Flacco? But I'm like, well, I got to take the bullet for the team this week. So I have searched high and low. I have a Colts pick that it took me forever. It was a whole bunch of work with all the shenanigans going on with the Colts, but we do have a Colts pick as well for the NFL.
All right. It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Seeing how bad it was, radar is clear, 61 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The Sun is revealing what Hurricane Milton left behind. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
There's a lot of damage assessments that are going to be going on today. And we're very obviously supportive of the power restoration operations. We're glad that all those folks were staged.
Milton made landfall last night as a Category 3 hurricane just south of Sarasota, leaving at least 4 people dead and millions without power. DeSantis says there were also 19 confirmed tornado touchdowns due to the storm, but the exact number is expected to rise. Israel resuming airstrikes in northern Gaza. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
Palestinian medical officials say the dead were displaced civilians sheltering in a school. Israel insists it was targeting Hamas militants hiding among the civilian population. A renewed air and ground offensive is underway in northern Gaza in an attempt to prevent members of Hamas from regrouping and attacking Israeli forces. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
In 1789, the Reverend Elijah Craig became the first to char oak barrels. Less than 20 years later, the whiskey cocktail was born. In the 1880s, folks started calling the whiskey cocktail an old-fashioned. Celebrate it during Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week, October 11th through 19th. Since launching Old Fashioned Week in 2020, Elijah Craig has donated over $400,000 to nonprofit organizations. Find a great place for a genuine old-fashioned at oldfashionedweek.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Well, Cody was 24 years old, and he had a big sense of humor. Always liked to make people laugh.
Dennis DeMoss of Reith Riley Construction's son Cody was killed May 9th, 2014, while working in the Cone Zone.
Well, it was a normal day. Get dressed, drink coffee, and my phone rang. It was about 5:30. It was one of the workers on the road. Cody's been in an accident. He didn't make it. Someone come through the construction zone and hit 2 of our guys. I hung the phone up. My wife's standing right beside me, and our daughter, she was standing there. The hardest part was to tell them right then that our son just was dead. All of our people that's out there, they are moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and we want to go home too. We're not out there to inconvenience people. We're trying to make it better for everybody. Give us some space, let us do our work, and we'll be out of your way and move on.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Chris Wedekin here, owner of Absolute Comfort. Increase comfort, lower gas bills, and reduce your carbon footprint.
Go to AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
The phone number, 317-684-8444. I noticed that somebody didn't retrieve a whole lot of voicemails while I was gone.
None. I did no voicemails.
It was like, your voicemail box is 80% full.
Well, here's the deal. And they know when they put me in charge of things is that I'm only got so many hours in a day.
You were busy.
Well, I was maestroing the show, which I got out of the business of doing, which I'm happy to do when you're not here.
Yeah.
But I just don't have time to book all the guests, do all our sponsor reads, get everything coordinated, do the template, do the sports betting show. Had to do State House happenings. Yesterday I worked a double shift because Nigel wasn't here. Sorry. I mean, there's just so many.
I know.
So many hours in a day.
And guess what? The voicemails fell through the cracks.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a team in order to do those sorts of things. And I just, look, I'm not going to deceive our audience. I just didn't want to put the effort in.
Right? It's going to take me an hour just to go through all of them. I did get to a couple of them. And we start with this one. So yesterday when Lopez was in, was it yesterday?
Yes.
He was here? Yeah, you guys probably talked about this. The 20 porn stars that were coming together to found the Hands Off My Porn.
Yeah,
the website.
They're running ads in the swing states on these adult-oriented websites, something about the Project 2025, which I guarantee no adult film star has read any portion of Project 2025,
right.
What it actually is, what it actually says. Can you imagine, are we led to believe that, like, pick your favorite adult film star is just immersed in the Heritage Foundation?
Going in through the 180 pages that is in that.
Like, I was going to start naming them off, but that was the old Rob. This Rob doesn't even remember that they're poor. Yeah, so we were laughing about that. And really the point of the exercise was, how mad are you if you're some person who's looking for a little evening entertainment and you go to one of those websites and you've got to sit through some political ad telling you to vote for Kamala Harris before you get to your matinee.
Skip ad in 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. So they said that we must fight back against this ultra-conservative agenda that is rooted in religious conservatism, fear-mongering, and the suppression of women's rights.
Yes.
Okay, well, here's a phone call about that.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this porn stars for Kamala deal going on with the ads. And really, they're going the wrong way about it. Just think about it. Trump is the one who took a washed-up porn star and made her relevant again.
Amber Rose.
She started touring the strip clubs again. People knew her name again. Just saying, if anybody's going to help them personally out, it would be the guy that makes them relevant. Just a thought. And also, if I were Trump, I would try to look into, do a scientific study on when people are usually about that point where they're going to finish viewing and purchase an ad for right at that timestamp. And that ad is nothing but Kamala laughing. That would turn them off. Have a good one, guys.
That would kill the mood, wouldn't it?
We have not heard from Trucker John in quite a while. I'm glad he's doing
Uh-huh.
well. I know he'd hit a bit of a rough patch there.
Uh-huh. I noticed this was the topic he wants to weigh in on.
Well, of course it was. I mean, okay, so they're doing a $100,000 ad buy in these swing states.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what digital ads on adult-oriented websites cost.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure.
Kevin, look into that.
I'm not sure how much traction you're going to get. I mean, but whatever. It's their money. They can do with it as they please.
Oh, can you imagine? Right when you're getting to the point, and then Kamala pops up and starts laughing.
Wait, what? Right? We get the point of what?
You know what I'm talking about. All right, here's another phone call.
What are you talking about?
Get to the point of
like the plot in the movie?
Yes, that's what I mean, Rob.
What do they call that when it all comes together? Isn't there a moment in the movie where the
arc of the story?
Yeah, that's it.
Some people call it maybe the climax, the pinnacle.
Oh, go on.
No, let's move on. Here's a phone call about the MAGA nickname.
I just wanted to comment, Trump gets all this, and the Republicans, the conservatives get all this flack about MAGA, Make America Great Again. I think they should modify that to Make America Sane Again. Change it to masa. Anyway, just wanted to say.
Okay, so you've got Make America Great Again, Make America Healthy Again, and Make America Sane Again, MASA.
It is kind of interesting, the Trump coalition, right? I mean, the group of people that, when we talked about this several months ago, Casey, it's the least favorite part of my show.
Oh, when you have to say that you're right.
Right, and I'm pretty sure I said several months ago that if Trump was going to win, it was going to be a hodgepodge coalition of unusual alliances.
Yep.
And when you look at everything from, hey, it's the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. block of voters, that if he peels off a majority of those, which he appears to be doing, if you take disaffection, disenfranchised black men, who, while you're not going to win that block, if you start getting better numbers, which he appears to be doing very well, if you take, as we've talked about, the Gen Z male vote, which
that are all leaning conservative.
Right. So it's almost like I know what I'm doing here, Casey, because that is why Trump is in many polls, especially in the swing states, pulling into the lead, because he has cobbled together these coalitions of people that on the surface don't appear to have much in common, but they all look at, for a variety of reasons, different things that are going on in the country and say that's simply not working.
Do you think the Democrats are regretting letting Elon go at this point, Elon Musk?
Well, I think it was a natural leave because Elon Musk is a brilliant person, and he recognizes with the Biden-Harris path in this country, it was unsustainable, and he's a business person, and it's hard to sell cars or trips to Mars or whatever else if people don't have any disposable income.
Yeah. What did you think about Elon Musk's dark MAGA?
Well, you were there. So my question to you, and we got into this a little bit when you were on Monday with us, which if you've not heard Casey's recap of that Trump rally, go back and listen to the first 30 minutes of Monday's show. It is great. Wait till noon. We don't care what you do during Tony Katz. You were there. I was told that the reaction for Elon Musk was every bit, I think you said it, and I've heard it from other people, the reaction from Elon Musk was every bit as enthusiastic as Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. Everybody was excited. I mean, that's why many people were there.
Isn't that weird? Because he's so uninspiring as a speaker. It's not like you're seeing... Hey, you're not there seeing the Reverend Billy Graham, right? I mean, it's this guy who clearly brilliant, one of the great entrepreneurs, one of the great businessmen in the history of our country.
Yeah, but you weren't going to walk away so motivated and just feeling like, oh my gosh, that was the best speech ever, because that's not what he does.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you feel underwhelmed then when he got up there and starts doing his thing because of the, like you said, the enthusiasm to hear and see him?
I don't think so, because the adrenaline was pumping the whole time.
Yeah.
That was hard to kind of come down from.
Right.
It was exciting to see him. But again, to your point, what he said was all good, but it wasn't the most motivating speech you ever heard in your life.
Yes.
But just the whole dark MAGA thing, and Donald Trump, I didn't even know we sold black hats. Yeah, they come in every color. Look at your crowd. There's pink, there's green, there's blue, there's red, clearly red, camo, all colors.
And you stole my hats to go to that rally, didn't you?
I brought them back. They're back on your desk.
You can keep them.
But I have to tell you, since I went there, I'm on the list. And multiple times a day, I'm getting the text, congrats, you're invited to Mar-a-Lago. You have the next 2 days to enter. This is all from Donald Trump's team.
So you had to, in order to get those tickets, you had to sign up, and they text you your ticket information.
Yeah.
So that's how they get your phone number.
And now it's been nonstop texting for,
Anything good?
For reminders. Well, get your dark MAGA hat. Where can we send your dark MAGA hat? And then, you go through all the thing, and at the end, they just want a donation.
They want to sell you a hat. Yeah.
If everyone reading this pledges to vote Trump, we'll beat Kamala in a landslide. I mean, it's You wouldn't believe the amount of texts. 8:55 p.m., 8:15 a.m., 1:10 p.m., 6:36. It's like 3 or 4 times a day now. I'm getting the text from, Trump wanting my money.
Yeah, that's not a bad strategy, though. I mean, think about how many hats they probably sold based on people who, went to that rally, or think about all the rallies he does, and clearly, I'm sure that's the standard operating procedure. You've got to provide a valid phone number.
Yep.
It's a pretty good. I mean, ploy is not the right word. You know what you're getting into when you give someone your phone number, like a political campaign.
So it started out at $5, and then he started asking for $10.
Oh, he's asking for more. It elevates.
Yeah, and then, are you ready to put America first? We need President Trump to keep fighting for our country. And, there was a reminder about voter registration deadlines.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job of that. They had many people walking around. Are you registered to vote at your current address? Many of those things.
All right.
One last phone call, and this one is about Donald Trump.
Kendall, I do agree with you. I think the country is changing towards Trump because the true teller is Saturday Night Live had a big skit about Kamala and Walz. And I guess it was a good one. So that may be a true teller right there that they're down for the count.
Okay, so Saturday Night Live opened the show with they were ripping on Harris and Walz.
Right.
So she's saying that if Saturday Night Live is on board, then
it's just like the polling.
Pendulum
Isn't it amazing how the polling always moves in the direction of reality as you get closer to the actual election, right? And you've seen that with the polling now, where Trump's winning in some of these swing states. You've seen, CBS, 60 Minutes, push Kamala Harris a little bit. Look at how she folded. The View tried not to push her, and they ended up just putting a dagger right through her heart. I mean, she put the dagger through her own heart with that, I wouldn't change anything.
Why? What would you do differently? Well, I'm not Joe Biden. I'm not Donald Trump. Okay, great.
Isn't that amazing that the woman is running for president, and you have no confidence you can send her out to do an interview on her own? Isn't that incredible?
No, that's actually pretty scary.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
The victims of Hurricane Helene need our help. Go to disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. That's disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. From the Salvation Army and WIBC.
Mortgage rates are down and creating more active buyers and sellers. If you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home before more homes flood the market, driving down prices. Maximize your home sale now with the market expert who delivers maximum money in less time, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Dee and Andrew in Noblesville had to say about working with Mark Dietl. We were done with the rat race and ready to live the dream of buying a camper and traveling west. We needed top cash from our home to make the dream work. Thankfully, we hired Mark Dietl, who delivered big time. Our home sold for our asking price in 4 days on the market. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold, or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Looking for a great place to go for car care? Hi, this is Lonnie Hinkle from Jiffy Lube, and I'd like to share the top 5 reasons that every Hoosier should trust Jiffy Lube to help keep their car running safe and well. Number 5, our computer system holds the maintenance data for every make and model. We know exactly what your car needs and when it needs to be done. Number 4, Jiffy Lube's training system is in the Training Magazine Hall of Fame. Along with companies like Ritz-Carlton, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's, our team does the job right. Number 3, you never need an appointment. We are ready to serve you whenever it works best for you, so come on in and see us. Number 2, Jiffy Lube accepts competitor coupons so you can get our great service at the desperate price of our competitors. And number 1, Jiffy Lube is a one-stop maintenance shop, and we make it easy for you to take great care of your car. Avoid the repair shop by getting your maintenance done at Jiffy Lube. And we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores.
So head to Jiffy Lube. There's really no reason to take your car anywhere else.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369, 800-525-9369.
If you've ever put off dealing with plumbing problems, you don't have to live that way. Maybe you tried to fix a leaky faucet yourself, or you're wishing that slow drain is going to magically start flowing again. Well, it's not. Stop putting things off and call Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. They'll give you honest advice at a fair price, and they leave your home even better than they found it. That's ldsmithplumbing.com. And tell them your second favorite plumber in the whole world, Denny Smith, sent you. ldsmithplumbing.com.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Reach your fitness goals in 2024 with the 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
So you have been warned. It is vacation season for all the little hosts here on WIBC. And this afternoon, the Hammer and Nigel program, Jason Hammer and Nigel both on vacation today. And this afternoon, Brad Klopfenstein and Jim Merritt will be doing the show.
All right, Klopfenstein joins us now on the WIBC hotline. What are you doing this afternoon, Klopfenstein? Tell us one interesting thing you're talking about with Merritt.
The most interesting, well, there's lots of interesting things going on. We actually just finished recording a Merritt in the Morning, our semi-biweekly podcast. We're going to be talking to Michael Hussein. He is the writer, director, and producer of a documentary called The Waiting Game about ABA basketball players and their bid to be a part of the pension plan that NBA players have. So it was an interesting conversation this morning. We are having him back on this afternoon to give a little bit of a preview because that film is going to be part of the Heartland Film Festival this week. Starts tonight.
That is interesting, and you win the bet. I said Klopfenstein will not be able to come up with one interesting thing he's talking about. You've already won the bet, Brad. You've already won the bet.
Good job. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll listen now. I'll tune in.
What time are you going to have him on?
He's going to be on at 3:35 today.
So this is a big risk, Brad, because, Hammer and Nigel are number one. That's our most listened to time slot, afternoon drive. And, there's a lot riding on you and Merritt this afternoon.
I believe they call this tightrope without a net.
No pressure.
So this is a win big, lose big proposition. So, Rob, I think you and Hammer on your next betting show should actually have an over-under on whether or not the Merritt in the Morning people succeed or fail miserably.
Well, and this is why we wanted to have you on, because I want to hype up people listening to you, whether it's because they want to see if you fail miserably or you exceed expectations. We just need to keep the numbers where they normally are, Brad.
Well, okay, we can do that for a day or two.
Well, that's it. That's all you got to do, brother. We're not asking you to take over.
So are you guys starting a little pool there at the station that says highly successful or fail miserably?
Yeah, it's
and what's the betting line on that right now?
Well, and here's the thing, and I blame management because they pressure us to take these days off. People like me, I'm like, look, I don't need to take any days off. You can buy the days out. You can give me money. I'll stay here. I'll work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No, you got to take your days off. I really feel like I blame this on management that they force us to take these days off.
Well, for guys like me, I'm glad you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy coming in. It is going to be a fun show. So we're filling in for Hammer and Nigel both today, tomorrow. So I get to do Beer Sample Friday again tomorrow, and I am working on a very special guest for that. So, which if I can't get the special guest, it's going to be Jim Merritt doing a beer bong.
Oh no! There's our winner.
Okay, so that's interesting.
So you'll have to tune in to see whether it's Jim Merritt or mystery guest.
Do we think Merritt, who came out of the womb in a suit and tie, do we think Jim Merritt has ever beer bonged in his entire life?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely not. There is no way he's ever done a beer bong.
I think you should table the guest and just have Jim do it anyway. Yeah.
Well,
or double beer bong. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now originally, way back when Matt Hiblin, executive producer, invited us to come in, I said I would do it on the condition that Jim does a beer bong.
You're right.
And Hiblin was in on that. Jim has waffled a little bit, and I'm afraid that if we don't have a backup guest, that Jim might chicken out on this.
All right, now here's the betting line. Will he go faster or slower than when I did it? 8.2 seconds.
Oh, absolutely slower.
You think slower?
It took you 8.2 seconds?
Yeah.
You're like one of those drivers in the Indy 500 that you're like, at least they got the race done.
That's right. Without wearing
Is he the
beer.
George Snyder of beer bonging?
Wait, Rob, have you done it?
No, I'm not here at 5:30.
Okay.
I don't live 3 minutes from the radio station.
Okay.
No.
So I'd like to see how quickly you do it.
Well, maybe someday you'll get your wish. All right, Kloppensteinstein, it's you, it's Merritt, the guest host for Hammer and Nigel this afternoon. We're all counting on you. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
All right. It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
I just wish Mom could hear better on the phone.
Dad gets so upset with me when I call. I wish it were different.
The CapTel caption phone from Relay Indiana allows you to speak into the phone, and your words appear on a bright, easy-to-read screen. Conversations occur naturally with added clarity.
I used to love our phone chats. I wish it was like before.
Now it can be with the CapTel caption phone. Go to RelayIndiana.com and call 334-1413 today.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
For all your home's heating, plumbing, and drain needs, remember the man for all seasons. Chapman. Furnace tune-ups right now, only $89. Schedule online today at chapmanheating.com. That's chapmanheating.com. There is still time to get a patio this fall with Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. No subcontractors ever. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
It takes everyone in the community working together to create a brighter future. Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Visit liveunited.org to learn how you can help.
Coming up in 2 minutes, experts with Task Force 1 of Indiana, well, they talk about what they're ready for, plus how much it's going to cost you when it comes to the Hogsett sexual harassment investigation, and a cold case gets a resolution. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Surveying damage, rescuing victims, and searching for more. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. They're doing all that across Florida the day after Hurricane Milton hits.
I'm hoping today that when we do a survey, we have no loss of life, and that will be directly related to the folks listening to our messages and getting out of town.
That is the sheriff in Sarasota County, where Milton first made landfall last night. And Kurt Hoffman tells Fox the storm surge added to the devastation caused by the hurricane 2 weeks ago.
With the National Guard right now doing a house-to-house assessment, but certainly worse than what it was before this storm came through. And Helene had already kind of opened that wound up, and Milton split it wide open.
Water rescues continue in areas left underwater. Fox's Steve Harrigan reports from Tampa.
We got at least 12 inches of rain. That created some flooding, and for some people, the way that water rose, the quickness of it really took some, like this woman, by surprise.
The water comes up to here, and I'm falling down, and I'm yelling, and a gentleman comes out of his house. He pulls me in and he says, "Get in here." He had no idea who I was. Roy, thank you for saving my life, because I almost died.
At least 4 people were killed when Milton spawned tornadoes in St. Lucie County. Sheriff Keith Pearson just told Fox.
Right now, we are going through the rubble, doing everything we possibly can to rescue and save as many lives as we possibly can.
And Governor Ron DeSantis warns.
Please be cautious of down power lines. Don't touch them. Don't remove tree debris that may be entangled.
There's still 3.3 million power outages. We got an inflation update this morning.
The Consumer Price Index rose 0.2% in September. For the year ending in September, the CPI did improve, but not at the level economists forecast. CPI on an annual basis was up 2.4%.
Fox's Jenny Casola. That is a slight decline from August. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They're up to the challenge. It's 62 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Indiana Task Force 1 is being used to help deal with the hurricane rescue and recovery, but Chief Jay Settergren admits Hurricane Milton is a bit tougher than usual.
A lot of rain, and because it's so big, it's creating a bunch of tornadoes, which are commonplace with hurricanes, but this seems to be spinning off quite a few more, just I think because of its size.
Despite those challenges, the 80-person team has been on the ground for the last 2 weeks and will be that way a little bit more as Milton made landfall in Florida overnight. 2 shootings overnight in Indianapolis. One on the north side was heard by an off-duty cop. They found a man injured near 34th and Fall Creek. Another was on the west side that happened along Neal Avenue near Washington Street. Both victims are alive. City leaders have hired an outside law firm to investigate Mayor Joe Hogsett. A special committee looking into sexual harassment within city government has hired Fisher Phillips, which is based in Chicago.
For Fisher Phillips, the discounted rate for this matter
is $595 at most for some of those attorneys.
And that's per hour, and it's your tax money that will pay for that. The firm will investigate Hogsett's handling of sexual harassment claims during his time as mayor. A man has been convicted of killing a 17-year-old girl back in 1975 in North Webster. John Herrick reports.
Fred Bandy Jr. was arrested in February of 2023 with John Lehman for the murder of Laurel Mitchell. Police say technological advancements allowed them to solve the case. Bandy will be sentenced October 22nd, and Lehman has a hearing on Friday after agreeing to a plea deal in August. He will plead guilty to conspiracy to commit murder. Mitchell drowned in the Elkhart River, and her case was ruled a homicide. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
The Colts losing another big name for the time being. Michael Pittman Jr. expected to miss multiple weeks with a back injury. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This October 10th through 20th, witness a race like no other in Driven to Save Lives, a documentary that's more than just a story. It's a life-saving movement.
Driven to Save Lives is inspiration.
Fueled by the legacy of racing champion Brian Clausen, whose heart symbol on his driver's license became a beacon of hope. This film explores the powerful impact of organ and tissue donation in Indiana's racing community and beyond.
To hear Brian's heartbeat again, I'll never forget that moment.
Join us for the world premiere event during the Heartland International Film Festival on October 12th at Newfields, or stream the film online.
What Driven to Save Lives does is gives all of us the opportunity to be Brian Clausen.
Visit driventosavelives.org for more information and tickets. That's driven, the number 2, savelives.org.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, October 10th. It's 5 minutes after 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
My life.
I know. I don't understand. Okay, so we were going to talk about Hurricane Milton and that path of destruction it left across Florida overnight, leaving several people dead, about 3 million without power. And we've got some audio of Ron DeSantis being a total boss. But we're going to table that because something happened while I was on vacation.
You cannot make my life up. And you will vouch for the listeners. When you were applying for this job, you and I had a little virtual back and forth.
Yeah.
And I warned you. I said, you're about to get into a cup of soup.
Yeah.
That is so convoluted, you won't be able to imagine it until you're in it. You'll think I'm lying to you. You'll think I'm making things up. And now here you are, 2.5 years later.
Oh, yeah, witnessing it firsthand. So did this happen while I was
I don't
on
know
vacation?
when it happened, Casey.
Greg Doyle from Indy Star blocked you on Twitter.
Well, I found out he had blocked me.
Okay, but you don't know when that happened?
I have no idea when it happened. It could have happened a year ago. It could have happened 6 months ago. It could have happened 6 weeks ago. It could have happened 6 hours. I have no idea because I don't ever recall interacting on social media in any meaningful fashion with Greg Doyle ever.
Okay, so this could have happened when all the Caitlin Clark stuff was happening with him, or it could have been just as recent as 2 days ago.
Well, I've narrowed it down to 2 things that it could have caused it, okay?
Okay.
Number 1 could have been the Caitlin Clark stuff, in which we, like every other person breathing air, were very critical about Greg Doyle's super creepy interaction with
when she
Caitlin
first
Clark,
came to town.
to the point where apparently his own employer also agreed with it based on the fact that he was apparently quietly, I guess, suspended or gone for 2 weeks and then...
And not allowed to report on the fever.
Report on the fever anymore.
Yeah.
So in terms of people he would have been mad at about that.
You were just one of the many.
Every person in the city was commenting on it because she's the most famous female athlete, arguably the most famous athlete, period, on the planet. And that's her introduction to the city. So if he was blocking me for that, then every other basically broadcaster, writer, every media figure in the city, because nobody was like, I think Greg was totally in line with his questioning and interaction with Caitlin Clark. So I thought, it can't have been that. There's no way he's like listening to our show to the point where he's like, I'm super. Are you blocked by him?
That's what I'm checking right now. I'm looking to see.
Let's see if he canned you, because that might tell us a little something.
I don't
because
think so.
You were as critical as I was.
Yeah.
About his interaction with Caitlin Clark.
2 G's, right?
Yeah, Greg with
Okay.
2 G's.
That's the
Gregg.
Gregg.
Yeah. Greg Doyle Star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the Twitter account. Are you in?
What
is taking so long, lady? It's a Twitter handle.
I'm not blocked.
Okay, so
I'm good.
Okay, so it can't have been that, because you were harsher on him for that than I was.
Yeah, because it was super creepy.
So then the other thing I can figure is he's BFFs with that complete buffoon Mike Wells. I don't even know if Wells is a writer or a commentator or whatever he does now. He does it poorly, whatever it is. But who has run the Brownsburg School Board into the ground along with his adult supervision, Eric Hilton. I mean, things like tying up a kid in court who was forced to eat his own vomit, or running the superintendent out with no transparency whatsoever. Almost 40% of the kids not meeting minimal standards. I mean, I've been critical of Wells in terms of his job as an elected official. So the only thing I can figure out, if it's not Greg Doyle, or if it's not Greg Doyle's interaction with Caitlin Clark that made Greg Doyle block me, it was that I'm critical of his friend's behavior, performance as an elected official. But surely Greg Doyle's not that big of a snowflake or that easily triggered that he would block me over me being critical, not even of him, of some guy he's friends with in his performance as an elected official.
Right. Okay, but you got a message this morning.
Well,
the drama continues.
And clearly he can't see my interaction because he had me blocked. So I don't know if he heard about us talking about it on the show yesterday. I guess, do you have to unblock somebody to respond to somebody you've blocked?
It seems like it.
Is that how that works?
Is this a private message?
No, it's on the Twitter.
Oh yeah, he would have had to.
It's a response to the post.
Yeah,
because I made a post about it and said I can't. We got to talk about this because I don't know what I've done. Here's the response. Now keep in mind the whole premise of the segment yesterday and of the post is like, what have I done? I don't know what you're even upset with me.
You're just existing.
Right?
Like what it is.
Like, okay, so here's what he says. Okay, so I guess he unblocked me to respond to this. And here's what he said. I'm not mad at you, brother.
Oh.
I apologize for thinking less than kindly about you. I get upset about things in my world, and it spills out in ways it shouldn't. Praying for you, Rob. Hope you'll do the same for me someday. Greg, listen, or if you know Greg, or if you could contact Greg, I will be happy to pray for you. I have no idea what you're upset about or what I need to pray for, though, because I don't think I've ever had any interaction with you.
Well, that was a nice message from him.
But what is he upset about? You'd think he would say, you did blah, 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 whatever that is. I overreacted, shouldn't have blocked you, you're unblocked, maybe we can get together, whatever. He's still not telling me what the thing that is causing him the consternation is.
Was it an accidental block?
Well, you would say that.
Yeah.
You would say, hey, man, I didn't even mean to do that. I don't know how that happened. Hey, I'm sorry. Let's get together and chat it out or what. Like, you would say that. If you had accidentally blocked someone, which it's pretty hard to accidentally block someone, right? I mean, maybe that's a thing.
I don't know. Somebody went accidentally live on their Instagram while they were having a Posturepedic polka doing the Sealy Shuffle, so
Here's
you never
the thing,
know.
Greg, I'm more than happy to pray for you, but I need to know what to pray for and what I've done with my zero interaction with you. And it cannot be. I mean, we've been critical of some things he's written before, but you're a writer. You want people to engage with your product. That cannot have been it. That cannot be it. That a writer for the Indy Star would be mad that we have been critical of his leftist posts that involve things that have nothing to do with sports as a sports writer. There's no way that's it either. So whatever it was, Greg, you have to let me know what it was so I know what to pray for.
Here's what we need to do.
Yeah.
We need to invite him on the show.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. I just followed him, so we'll see how long this lasts.
This is a grown-ass man. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What is happening here?
Let's invite him on the show.
And I get along fine with a bunch of people at the Indy Star. We have Briggs on all the time. Briggs and I don't agree on anything politically.
Right.
We engage back and forth. We've had some writer for the Star recently just contacted me about being a part of one of the stories they were going to run. Like, I don't I mean, what has happened in this man's world that a radio broadcaster who has no impact on his life whatsoever, who has had minimal, if any, social media interaction with him, I'm going to punish you by blocking you. However, you won't know I've punished you until you accidentally stumble on a thread with me fighting with Dan Dockage.
Yeah. So I don't know what the deal is, but let's ask him.
You ask him.
Let's get him on the show.
You send him the message and say, Rob would like to pray for you. He just needs to know what to pray for because he has no idea what's going on or why you blocked him.
See, and now I'm in it now. This is exactly what you warned me of. Now I'm in it. All right, I'll send him a message. I'll invite him on the show. That would be interesting.
I don't want to fight with you. I just want to know what I did.
What did you do?
And then we can talk about it, and then we'll get past it. I mean, whatever it is, if I've made some egregious mistake,
maybe he just doesn't agree with your politics.
Well, that's fine.
And he doesn't want to see it.
But when would he see it? He's not following me.
Well, that's because he blocked you.
But why would he see it anyway if he's not? And are you that triggered that you saw a conservative or liberty-minded point of view that he's not a private citizen. He's the lead sports writer for the Indianapolis Star, the paper of record in the city.
Is it virtue signaling? I've blocked Rob Kendall.
But he just said he was. Let's read this again. Remember this episode of Seinfeld where they're trying to decipher what George's boss is telling him, and they're deciphering the letters, the words to the song. You can always go downtown. This is what I feel like we're doing here. All right, we'll do it in that fashion. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you, brother. I apologize for thinking less than kindly about you. I get upset about things in my world, and it spills out in ways it shouldn't. Aren't we a little concerned that the guy is that unhinged, that you're not capable of processing your emotions to the point where I don't see this guy.
Yeah.
I don't interact with this guy.
Yeah.
I certainly don't have to listen to this guy. But I'm so...
You don't have to read what he writes.
Unable to keep... Yeah, it's like I read Doyle stuff, and sometimes we poke fun at it and laugh at it and point out what... I'm not that big of a snowflake that I can't read a super liberal person and go, boy, that's a horrible piece. We should really rip on that on the air.
Okay, so he says, I'm not mad at you, brother. It's nothing capitalized, right?
Right, no.
It's just, I'm not mad at you.
It's you, brother.
Brother. And then he says, what's the second?
I apologize for thinking less than kindly about you.
Yeah. Well, he's probably gotten really good at apologizing lately.
Stop.
Probably goes along with the territory.
This is the lead sports writer for the paper of
what's
record.
the third sentence is what's interesting.
I get upset about things in my world, and it spills out in ways it shouldn't.
Yeah.
But what?
So it was just a visceral reaction from something he saw where he was like, block. I don't want this. I mean, it is his social media. He can control what he sees, who he follows, what he puts out there. So, okay, I'll send him a message. We'll see if he'll come on the show, and you guys can talk this out.
Absolutely, I would love that.
Do I need protection? When
No,
he's here? Is he going to be super creepy?
I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. I'm not angry at him. I think he's a complete leftist lunatic, and I think he behaved wholly inappropriate around Caitlin Clark, as did everyone else in the city, as did his employer.
Right.
But I'm not mad. There's nothing for me to yell at him about. It's like, you're a complete nut job working at a failing paper that's failing in large part because they put you front and center. Not mad about it at all.
I just wonder if we invite him to come on the show, he'll want to do it in person, so that he can.
I warned you 2.5 years ago, didn't I?
You did.
I did tell you.
I was warned.
This is the soup you're hopping into.
We have to talk about this article in Politico coming up. Okay.
Yeah, it's super interesting. There's a quote in there that is super interesting, and I want to ask you if this is how you vote as well.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It's been a long slog.
Donald Trump is a disaster for working people. This is the worst response to a hurricane ever.
Now, there are less than 4 weeks to go.
Everyone goes out and votes.
The choice is in sight.
Somebody said, he said, She's incompetent.
And he's trying to gaslight people all over our country.
And it's not going to get any more polite.
We cannot be stopped.
I will get caught up in the rhetoric. We'll follow it all to the finish on your 2024 election information station, 93 WIBC.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369. 800-525-9369.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Go now to bwindow.com and receive $400 off per window and $250 off any patio or entry door, plus 2.99% financing.
David Lee Roth turning 70 years old today.
Isn't that crazy?
And I just saw this. Somebody said if you can't name at least 5 Van Halen songs without using Google, you should not be allowed to vote in the upcoming election. Can you do it? Can you name 5 Van Halen songs?
Well, obviously, you've got Panama.
Mhm.
You've got Jump.
Yeah.
You've got Hot for Teacher.
Mhm.
Right Now or whatever.
Yep. Yep. One more, and you're good to go.
Now, my favorite David Lee Roth song is his cover of a famous music video that he did.
What, the Ice Cream Man one?
No, the one where just Gigolo.
Oh, yeah.
So I count that.
You count that as a Van Halen
Well,
song?
it's David Lee Roth, right?
Okay.
I mean,
is he anything without Van Halen?
Well, to me, the David Lee Roth is Van Halen. I know the Sammy Hagar people are going to be, up in arms over this because there's a lot of people that love Sammy Hagar, and I just think the original is almost always the best. Now, this is not as egregious as like what Journey did, where what's the clown's name, Kevin? That's Steve Perry imitator now. What's his name?
Not Steve Cherry.
Arnel Pineda.
Arnel Pineda. Steve Cherry.
You're thinking of Arnel Pineda.
Arnel Pineda, yes, thank you. Or the guy that Styx brought in who sounds like Rod Stewart, who was supposed to be Dennis DeYoung, or I don't even know what Foreigner did. I mean, they got rid of Lou Gramm, but the guy doesn't even sound like, well,
I don't think they were trying to replace David Lee Roth. It was just a whole new direction.
Well, right. But I mean, what I'm saying is Sammy Hagar is certainly a very famous, accomplished singer, songwriter, whatever. You bring him in. It's not a neutral shift, but it's not the downgrade of Arnel
Arnel Pineda.
Arnel Pineda for Steve Perry or whatever, I mean, it's like the group is sort of by the way, wasn't the first album with Sammy Hagar OU812?
Mhm.
Wasn't that the first?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, very popular.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about this article in Politico.
I saw this, and the Politico is obviously, they cover all national politics. It's an online publication. I actually saw Adam Wren had retweeted this. He's not the author of the piece, but he had retweeted this. He writes I think as a freelancer for Politico. And Politico is interviewing different people about Pennsylvania. Like, they're convinced Pennsylvania is the grand prize this year. They're interviewing different people who know the state of Pennsylvania. They're talking about what are things that you're seeing, what are the things that people should be looking for as we get closer to Election Day, on Election Day, et cetera. And this one woman who I think she went to school in Pennsylvania, she's a writer for Politico. They asked her, this list of questions. And the last question they asked her was what I thought was most interesting. All right, name one place, issue, or thing we should be watching in Pennsylvania in the campaign home stretch. And here I'm just going to read her answer. It says, your readers should be watching and rooting for the Phils. Well, I guess we know what way she leans. Oh, she's being funny here. Okay, very good. In all seriousness, it sounds crazy, but some Democrats have argued to me that the Phillies doing well make voters feel better about the city, and that's good for them.
Okay.
And she goes on to say, hey, I've heard stranger election theories. So what she's saying is Philadelphia, because much of her question and answer, she says, hey, look, Philadelphia has lost population, like many major metropolitan cities, at a fairly rapid rate the last several election cycles. Democrats dominated the state of Pennsylvania in large part because they could run up the score in Philadelphia. That's why we've seen closer elections the last couple of years, because we've seen a dilution of Philadelphia's dominance over the vote total. And so what she's basically saying is Philadelphia is an almost all Democrat city.
Yep.
If the Phillies are doing good, people are going to be in a good mood. They're going to feel good about the city. They're more apt to go out and vote, which would help the Democrats.
Yeah.
Now, the Phillies lost the series last night to the Mets.
So does that mean there will be low turnout?
Okay, but first of all, is there any merit to that? Like, is there any, oh yeah, I'm a Democrat, and if the Phillies, your hometown team, is doing good in a major metropolitan city, you're more apt to go vote?
I would think the opposite is true. Because if I were in a bad mood, regardless of what it was, whether my team lost or, I had a bad morning, or you were, your coworker was a jerk or whatever it was, and you're in a bad mood, well, you're going to blame the government on it, right? So that's going to motivate you to go vote.
So you
think
think
I'm tired of this crap and I want it to change.
So you think the opposite?
I do.
That people would be more apt to vote and be pissed off and take it out on somebody if their team lost versus won.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I just, if your voting comes down to how your sports team is doing, but look at the way people vote. I mean, look at Pennsylvania. They did elect a guy who started a debate. Hi, good night, everybody.
Well, again, and that's Philadelphia coming into it, right?
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
I just thought that was super interesting. I've been thinking about that for several segments now, and I thought I would be curious. Like, have you ever been motivated to vote by something outside of
the actual politics,
the people running?
Yeah, the losing or winning team, 19 sweet electoral votes. But what, Pennsylvania has almost 13 million people?
Is that how many people it has? So it's double the size of Indiana. Not quite, but close.
Nearly 13 million. That was the interesting thing about that Trump rally, is they had Scott Pressler, who they pulled up on stage to come talk, and he's really strong in activism in Pennsylvania, getting people to come vote. And he was talking about how they've been targeting Amish people to go vote, and hunters specifically. And, just really trying to get missed opportunities of the past.
Well, now Pennsylvania is unique because it has two large population hubs. You've
Pittsburgh and Philly.
Pittsburgh.
On opposite sides of the state.
Yeah, you're right. And that article actually talked about this. James Carville once described Pennsylvania as those two cities with Alabama in between.
Mhm.
And what he means by that is everything outside of those is super rural.
Yep.
And what's weird is in 2021, Glenn Youngkin became the governor of Virginia because he ran up the score outside of Loudoun County. In these rural areas, he won by so much that by the time the vote came in Loudoun County, he had cracked the code to where Loudoun County could not overcome the victory in these other areas. And that's what Trump's going to have to do. He's going to have to run up the score. Now, there's also a belief, because Trump is doing so well with black men and Hispanic men relative to previous Republican candidates, that Philadelphia may not be this juggernaut that's
the
always
stronghold
been.
that the Democrats think it is.
If it's, and this sounds weird, if Trump loses 80-20 in Philadelphia, he probably wins the state. I mean, it sounds so weird to say. That sounds so weird to say that losing by 60 points is some sort of huge victory. But it really, by the way, the first Van Halen album with Sammy Hagar was 5150, but I'm certain OU 812 was a Van Halen album, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a Van Hagar album, but it must not have been the first one, 5150.
Somebody wants to fact check us on Van Halen.
We get this all the time. Like, we talk for 3 hours and it's never, hey, great job. You've really changed my life for the better. Thanks for all the effort you put in. You got the first Van Halen album wrong.
Yeah, it was released in 1988. The band's second album featuring Sammy Hagar.
It was OU 812.
Yeah.
Okay. Close enough.
Yeah.
How many people would even got that right?
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Looking at the damage, I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Millions of people without power all across central Florida as Hurricane Milton made landfall and then moved out in a matter of hours overnight.
We will better understand the extent of the damage as the day progresses.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, some damage already being understood, like at Tropicana Field, where the Rays play. The roof of the ballpark was torn off. The storm also spawned dozens of tornadoes, which caused even more damage, not to mention the storm surge. There's some not-so-good economic reports out today. The Consumer Price Index, seen as a barometer for inflation, rose more than expected in September. The CPI reported the cost of food and rent remains stubbornly high. Unemployment filings are also up. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at Life Church. You know, it's Thursday. That means Sunday's going to be here before you know it. And this Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or even a first church home, check out my friends at Life Church. They've had such a great impact on my life, on my family's life. And if you're feeling called to something different, something new, it could be a new church home, even a first church home. Either way, you got nothing to lose, everything to gain. Life Church is warm. They're welcoming. Many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church over the years. Campuses in Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus awesome online services. Learn more about everything at lifechurchin.com.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
I love my Window Nation windows. They look great on my house. Window Nation's 96% customer satisfaction rating, the highest in their industry.
And Window Nation's energy-efficient windows can save you up to 40% on your energy bill. I know because I'm a customer and I've seen it. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows for free, plus pay nothing, no interest for 2 years. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you concerned about rising gasoline taxes? I'm Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor. Hoosiers currently pay sales tax and excise tax on gasoline to the state. No one should pay 2 taxes for gasoline. So my plan is to abolish the gasoline excise tax in Indiana. To learn more about my plan to make Indiana government less taxing, go to rainwaterforindiana.com. My name is Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message. Paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
Chris Wettican here, owner of Absolute Comfort. Go to absolutecomfort.org to lower your monthly bills.
Savings on heating and cooling at Absolute Comfort, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Okay, so you have told Greg Doyle.
I'm sending it right now. See, here's the thing. I can't send him a message unless he follows me.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to have to put it out there for everybody.
Oh, that's fine. So you're going to tell Greg Doyle. We got his message.
We got your message. Will you come on the show to discuss? Post.
Yeah, perfect. Great. Because if you missed earlier, Greg Doyle, of course, had blocked me. We talked about that at length yesterday. Now, apparently, he's unblocked me.
Mm-hmm. And he wants you to pray for him.
Well, and this like cryptic message, not explaining why he had blocked me to begin with, which is what we really want to know. And my point was, we're happy to pray for you. We just need to know what to pray for.
Mm-hmm.
And I would assume I need to know what I did for you to block me. So Casey has reached out to Greg Doyle from Indy Star and said, "We come on the show."
Did you see this me doing your dirty work again?
Well, you what? Look, it's half your show. I warned you. Hey, all right. So we have a really interesting segment coming up next that I think our audience is going to enjoy, and our show is the only show that'll do something like this. So I have noticed around Central Indiana, Casey, a lot of these gigantic, they call them mixed-use developments. Like, hey, there's apartments and there's businesses and there's warehouses.
And retail.
And so are they good for the communities that they're going into? Are they actually having a positive impact on the community? Is the touted investment paying for itself, making life better, making property tax lower? There's a big one going out in Plainfield. It's called Hobbs Station.
Yeah.
And the mastermind behind it,
Isaac Bombachet.
He's going to join us next, and we're going to talk about these mixed-use developments that are popping up everywhere. Local Government 101 when we come back.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
The victims of Hurricane Helene need our help. Go to disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. That's disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. From the Salvation Army and WIBC.
As summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-494-5004 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Jennifer McCormick backed Hillary Clinton for president. And when McCormick was in charge of education in Indiana, our schools ranked at the bottom. She even opposed school choice. Then McCormick backed Joe Biden for president and supported his trillion-dollar spending scheme that caused all the inflation. Now she runs for governor on a plan that would increase your energy bills, create a new office of environmental justice, and ban gas stoves. Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal.
This is Mike Braun. Here's my plan for Indiana. I'll enforce immigration laws even when the federal government fails to act, keeping our streets safe and secure. And my plan lowers more costs. I'll cut property taxes, reduce energy bills, and expand parental choice and school voucher programs. Indiana needs strong leadership. We can get it done.
Mike Braun, governor. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Are you worried about your taxes? Okay, so I'm talking to those of you out there that have not filed in a few years with the IRS or state. It's time to get worried, and here's why. The IRS is getting back from their own COVID lockdown, and they're hiring more enforcers, and they're going to come after people that owe taxes. So if you're a 1099 worker, and maybe you just plain forgot to file your taxes, you need to call the professionals right now at the Tax Helpline. They are experts at knowing the tax regulations, and their goal is to help you pay as little as possible. Call right now and get a 100% free tax evaluation. Remember, before the IRS knocks on your door, knock on our door. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, make this free call right now.
Call Texas 321 now at 800-808-9443. 800-808-9443. That's 800-808-9443.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today. Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
I wanna live, I wanna give,
surrounding Indianapolis, there's a new trend of these large, they call them mixed-use developments.
Yes, where people can live there, they can shop there. Everything is all in one area.
Yeah, so like it's almost like a community within the community. And they're everywhere now.
Yeah.
All of these communities, almost you go around central Indiana, the donut counties, you're seeing them pop up. And there's a big one that is about to open in Plainfield called Hobbs Station.
Yeah.
And this thing, I mean, it has it all. It's got mixed-use multifamily development, housing, senior living,
restaurants,
industrial flex buildings. I mean, it is.
They've got a park area with pickleball courts, everything.
So I said, I want to know more about these. I want to know about their actual impact on these communities. Are they an actual benefit, and how do they benefit these communities? And so Isaac, who is sort of the visionary of this Hobbs Station, is what it's called in Plainfield, he agreed to come in and said, sure, absolutely, we'll talk about it. Isaac joins us now. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Okay, so we see these things go up, and I think people look at them and go, woo. Like in a place like Plainfield, they go, woo, that's pretty big. I don't know if that really works here. Kind of talk about how Hobbs Station in particular came to be and why you guys said, yes, that'll work in Plainfield. Just kind of work us from the conception on this. Start at the beginning, we'll work our way forward.
That's a lot. I don't know if we have enough time to go through all of that, but I'll keep it brief and short from that standpoint. It really starts with mixing our vision with what the community is also looking for. So we sat down with leaders in the community, both from a neighborhood standpoint and from a municipal leadership standpoint, administratively, city council. So we really spent that time on the front end, not just thinking about what we wanted to do, but what the community was looking for as well. And by doing that, we're able to really bring together something from a master plan standpoint that they were really looking for.
Because a place like Plainfield, they have a lot of industrial, obviously. They're right next to 70. That stuff fits there.
Yeah.
But they really haven't done these huge, I mean, you're putting hundreds of people now between the housing, the multifamily housing, the individual housing, the senior living. You're bringing a lot of people into a place that was really in the past kind of shunned housing. Like, how does that conversation go? Because I think for a lot of people, that's the concern. It's not, hey, the business is great, right? The people are paying the 3%. There's a lot of tax money coming in. Oh, man, now there's a lot of people that are moving here, too. So how does that conversation go?
Well, it is part of that, right? You've got a number of, businesses, industrial buildings, and commerce happening there. And these people are, flying in, every day and then leaving. And so you have a combination of, we would love to actually live in this community. We would love to actually, live, work, play here. And then on top of that, you have the city or town leadership saying, hey, we want these people to stay here too. So that combination actually made it kind of ripe for, hey, we need this housing. And people are moving there, right? Housing's being built, Pulte Homes, Lennar, all the big players are building homes there. The population of Plainfield has grown, pretty significantly over the past decade. And so they were looking for kind of the next tier, right? A lot of the developments that have happened, the housing developments in particular, single-family housing developments, were more so kind of your run-of-the-mill cookie-cutter style projects. And there was a desire from the community, again, a desire from leadership saying, can we take things to the next level, right? And that's where we kind of come in.
Isaac Bambochet is our guest. He is sort of the visionary of this Hobbs Station. It's a giant mixed-use development going out in Plainfield. And what we're talking about these mixed-use developments because they're really everywhere. So are you guys fighting? You mentioned the cookie-cutter housing development. And you're always fighting with the guy before you did, right? So townie lifers like me, I don't live in Plainfield, but I live in Brownsburg, and I see all of these as you described them perfectly, cookie cutter, lifeless, bland, every house looks exactly the same like the house next to it development. And I say, I am done with these, enough of these, and now I'm just mad at all growth. Are you fighting that because that has happened in these communities?
I think, initially, right, you walk into any room and you say the word developer, it's like a 4-letter word. But I think you again, take that step back, you listen, you spend time with people, you show your track record, and that's something that we have, thankfully, in terms of not doing cookie cutter. I mean, and when we go into the process, it's not just about the sticks and bricks, it's how we actually even think about things like the PUD, how we write the ordinance, right, with the community again. there's an anti-monotony clause in our PUD, so you can't have the same type of house next to the same house next to it. So you have that sort of thoughtfulness going into the process, and people see that. And they start, really joining in with you in terms of supporting the project. So when we go, for example, and ask for approvals on a project like Hop Station, we get unanimous approval, right? Which is unheard of in small communities like this for a project of this.
You didn't have an angry mob or anything to deal with?
No, we didn't actually. We had the community come out and support.
That's amazing.
The project.
How do you determine what retail establishments will be a part of Hop Station?
That's a great question. A lot of data goes into it, but again, part of it is that conversation with the community. One of the things that we've done in the past and we did here was partner with the town and doing a survey with the community. And so the community came out in droves in terms of, obviously this was an online survey, but came out and really wanted to have their opinions heard as it relates to.
So they tell you, we want another broken egg here.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The number of folks that told me, if you can get another broken egg,
Really? I mean, they're that specific with
They're
you.
that specific. I mean, there are some folks that I unfortunately can't wave a magic wand and put them there. Everyone wants a Trader Joe's as well. So, we'll see if we can accomplish that. I unfortunately,
do they tell you
it.
as far as stores go, like, oh, we want a Lush, we want?
Sometimes, yeah. Like again, another broken egg is a great example of that. But people can also be a little more broad and generic in terms of we want services, right? Being able to go shop, being able to go, get your hair done or your nails done, things of that nature. Not that I know anything about that, but
so there's so much. Isaac Bambochet is our guest, and he's kind of the visionary for this Hobbs Station, which is this giant mixed-use development going out in Plainfield. And I wanted to bring him in because I'm really curious. I see these going up everywhere in these communities. So economic impact, like it's a $300 million. Casey and I have often said we need more rich friends. So you say you say it's a $300 million $300 million investment. What, like, who do you go to say, yeah, I'm gonna need $300 million to build this? Like, I'm guessing like the local community bank doesn't do that. Like, how does that even happen?
Yeah, that again, conversation for another day, I guess. But
but I mean, this is like, is it financers? Is there a local bank involved in the project? How do you do that?
Yeah, it's a combination of what we call the capital stack, right? Equity, our equity, investor equity. Banks, the community itself, right? The town of Plainfield was a great partner in helping to support us with funds for infrastructure, right? This was a farm field that had been farm field for, over 20 plus years.
I've watched this thing grow up as a Hendricks County lifer. I started seeing you guys starting to put this thing together, and I said, ooh, that's big.
Yeah. So, beyond just the buildings, there's a lot that goes into what we call the horizontal infrastructure, right? Roads, sewer, water, gas, all of that had to go into this site before any big bricks were laid, right? So all those different groups really kind of came together, and we bring all those groups together. We bring the banks together. We bring the equity together. We bring the municipal bonding together. So yeah.
Tell us, okay, so you've got this initial $300 million investment. What is the long-term economic impact on a city like Plainfield?
I think, tremendous, right? The tax impact is pretty significant. The jobs impact is pretty significant, right? So between the temporary jobs, right, with regards to construction and then the permanent jobs, folks that are working in the apartments, folks that are working in the retail, folks that are working in the warehouses, all together, I mean, we're talking about over 1,000 people that, weren't working at this site, this 125 acres now being added to the community. So there's a real impact from the standpoint of not just the live, but actually the work side, and then from a true municipal proceed side, those tax dollars that get pumped back into the community, both from real estate tax standpoint, but also from an income tax standpoint too.
So you've got 293 apartments going in.
First phase.
How do you determine the price point?
Yeah.
You've got a lot of amenities that you could really hike up the price for something like this.
That's
and say,
right.
We offer pickleball courts. You could shop here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we start with market, right? So when we go into a project like this, it's all about making sure that this community is still approachable and still, achievable for the community that it's going into. And so though it's, yes, we are going to outperform when it comes to all of the amenities that we have. We make sure that it's still something where folks look at it and say, oh, I'm getting the same product, or I'm getting a better product for the same price as I would down the street. And so that's where how we approach things. And that's why, how we bring the capital stack that I mentioned earlier together is so important, because if you don't do that right on the front end, you're not going to be able to do exactly what I just said. You're going to have to be, 2x what the market is, or 1.5x what the market is from a rent and sales standpoint.
Before we let you go, Isaac Bomachet is our guest. He's the visionary of this Hobbs Station in Plainfield, this large mixed-use development. We're kind of talking about how these impact central Indiana communities. Do you just look at a field one day and go, I think that could go there? Like, I'm just curious how that even happens. Like,
you got to be a little crazy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, did you just look at this field and go, that'd be what? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we do. We look at land all day and figure out what makes the most sense right here. And then you start kind of dreaming it up and hope for the best, I guess.
Well, I'm sure you're not going to look. I mean, Plainfield is a growing area with new shops and new residents coming in all the time. You're not going to look at a field in a dying community or a Rust Belt
yeah,
city.
But it's like I drive by things and I'm like, ooh, that's a lot of corn. He's like, whoa, there's $300 million of development sitting right there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that specific to start, at least, but at least we look at it, and we do look at some communities that maybe aren't necessarily on the surface growing, and saying, what can we do to catalyze growth?
Should we be done with the cookie cutter housing develop? I mean, should there be no more of those? I mean, is this the thing? Is this the future? I mean, if you can do this, then anybody can do this. And I say that because, and we'll get you out of here with this, because I think a lot of times these city councils, town councils, they're just generally lazy and they don't see what things could be. It's just whatever the developer brings them, and then they make the decision based on that. Can you issue maybe some guidance that this could be the thing going forward if you work for it?
I think the best way to put it, there needs to be intentionality, right? And I think when it's kind of just throw something at the wall and hope it sticks, I think there needs to be a little bit of rethinking about those types of approaches to development. But things operate in cycles, right? There was a time when efficiency was needed, right? There's still a huge housing need, and so how do you fill that gap? So I think that there's a place for being able to meet the needs of the community, but I don't think that needs to happen without intentionality. So that's what's really important.
All right, people want to learn more about Hobbs Station. I assume you do have places for rent.
We do.
Places for buy.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing right now. We're in the middle of our lease up. So if you want to learn more about how to potentially live, or if you want to start a business and open a restaurant, or again one of these services, we're happy to talk to you. You can visit hopstation.live to be able to learn more about the project.
Dirty secret: Plainfield has the lowest tax rate in Hendricks County of all the thriving municipalities. So. Because they do smart things like this. They don't just put a warehouse and a high-density housing development on every corner, Casey.
Right. It's actually attractive, a place you might want to live.
Yeah. Isaac, thanks, man. This has been fun.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate coming on.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
18 years ago, Tom and Sarah Joyner started Joyner Homes in Greenfield, and to date, they've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. The homes they build are different than the cookie-cutter houses you see today. They build homes that have the character like the homes of yesterday, but have modern features, character-rich features, exposed wood beams, stone fireplaces, custom build-ins, and smart design. Building a new home doesn't have to be a headache. Joyner Homes will build you a truly unique, beautiful home. Visit JoynerHomes.com.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Plumbing problems stink. The LD Smith Crew can handle anything. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
There is still time to get a patio this season. Get on the books now for a patio this fall. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Changing the way Indy thinks about concrete.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up, we will better understand the extent of the damage.
Tornadoes were hitting everywhere.
The discounted rate for this matter.
It was 2 separate fires.
We're done with no adverse events at all.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
Several people are dead. You've got a sunny sky and 63 degrees in downtown Indy. Your high today will be 76. I'm Donnie Burgess.
And I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's what's trending at noon. Down power lines, broken tree limbs, and damaged homes are the result of the destruction from Milton, which hit Siesta Key in Sarasota County on Wednesday night as a Cat 3 storm. Here's Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
We will better understand the extent of the damage as the day progresses. And you have people that are out there assessing damage right now. First responders have been working all through the night to help people who are in distress.
DeSantis says millions of people are without power right now.
Before Milton made landfall, it generated over a dozen tornadoes. This man said that they were too close for comfort.
It's something that we've been through a little bit, but not a whole lot. And that is about every 3 minutes for a while, middle of the day, tornado warnings. Seek shelter. Tornadoes were hitting everywhere. There was one about 10 miles away from us.
At least 4 people were killed after tornadoes hit a retirement community north of West Palm Beach.
Indiana Task Force 1 is used to dealing with hurricane rescue and recovery, but Chief Jay Settigren admits Hurricane Milton may be a bit tougher than usual.
A lot of rain, and because it's so big, it's creating a bunch of tornadoes, which are commonplace with hurricanes, but this seems to be spinning off quite a few more, just I think because of its size.
Despite the challenges, the 80-person team will be on the ground for the next 2 weeks.
So what will the investigation cost you? That story and more next on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Hurricane Milton not as big as they thought, and Kamala Harris's short lead wasn't as big as she really needed. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
And WIBC News Time coming up on 12:02. Adult murder charges may be coming soon for a 13-year-old boy from Anderson. Prosecutors say they're inclined to file those charges after the boy was arrested for stabbing a man to death during a robbery. Last week, the cops found Mark Miles lying on his kitchen floor at his home in Anderson along 12th Street, covered in blood, but not far from a bloody knife. The kid told his mom that he robbed somebody of $500 and had to stab them to get it.
An Indianapolis committee met on Wednesday to discuss sexual harassment in the local government. A law firm from Chicago has been chosen to lead the investigation.
For Fisher Phillips, the discounted rate for this matter is $595 at most for some of those attorneys.
Committee chairperson Krista Carlino says Fisher Phillips was chosen because of their experience with similar cases. The committee will meet again on November 14th.
Fire investigators need help finding whoever set 6 houses on fire in Indianapolis late Monday. Here's Kurt Darling.
For now, it was 2 separate fires that ended up destroying 5 homes and damaging another with a family of 5 inside. It's not clear if the same person started both fires, but IFD's chief fire investigator Vernon Gerard says they need help.
Arson is a violent crime. Obviously can get people injured and people can die. So it's very serious, and we take it very seriously.
If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers, which is offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Kurt Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The average price for gas across the state is $3.25 a gallon, says AAA. That's up 9 cents from last week and 4 cents above the national average. Evansville still has the cheapest gas at $2.61.
Donating plasma might be something that concerns you. John Herrick reports on advice from a medical expert.
And now, a WIPC News Spotlight.
Anita Brickman is the president and CEO of the Plasma Protein Therapeutics Association. She says you have very little to worry about if you donate, and recent research backs that up.
On 12 million plasma donations, 99% plus of those donations were done with no adverse events at all. So this is a very safe procedure.
She says from what she's seen, there are very minimal side effects.
Most people, if they have any kind of side effect at all, it might be some slight bruising at the IV site or slight bleeding, very similar to the side effects you might have from a blood donation.
Brickman, who's from Greenwood, Indiana, often gets asked if it's a good idea for Hoosiers who have had COVID-19 and recovered from it to donate. She says in that case, your plasma would help.
During COVID, there was research that was begun on what was called convalescent plasma, collecting plasma from individuals who had recovered from COVID-19 as a potential booster of a treatment for individuals who were not getting better. So absolutely no concern whatsoever.
And then after you donate, she says it's not like the plasma just sits there.
Once the plasma is donated, it goes through a months-long process of sterilization, viral deactivation. It is
Brickman also concludes by saying that plasma donations have been able to treat patients with a wide variety of issues, including neurological conditions.
But then there are also very specialized treatments that are called hyperimmunes that come from plasma therapies that can treat rabies, tetanus. There are so many uses, and I think people underestimate the power of plasma and the need for donation.
With your WIBC News Spotlight, I'm John Herrick.
It's sunny and 63. I'm Donnie Burgess.
And I'm Ryan Hedrick, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Absolute Comfort, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana. Live from the heartland and the crossroads of America, it's Tony Katz Today.
The problem is they can't sell Kamala Harris. That's the fundamental issue that the Democrats have come to. All of this idea of joy and all of this idea of momentum and all of this idea of energy and everything they said